So I was messing around with my mic and audio, so if the levels are weird, let me know. I tried to make it louder because I played back my last stream and I was like, wow, that's really quiet. So let me know. Anyways, today we are playing Mamiya once again. If you weren't here last time, it's basically a visual novel about the end of the world, which I don't know why it's ending, what's ending it, or what's going on. I basically have zero answers, but we're gonna figure it out together. So, let's continue where we left off. So, the last place we saved was with this guy. And he was with, what was her name? Mina? Yes, Mina. Okay. Well, the sun does set early in the winter. Oh, this reminds me. Would you care to have dinner together? I happen to know a good place around here. Just so you know, I'm flat out broke. Respect the honesty. I'm not asking you to treat me, but I won't buy you anything either. You have enough for yourself, don't you? I answered her mean-spirited smile with a snort. We headed to an izakaya that had the feel of a cocktail bar. Several guests were sitting by the counter, interacting with the bartender. Welcome, Mina. Who's the young man? Just an acquaintance of mine. Don't worry about him. I'll have the usual. By the way, how are you, Morichika? Meat, I guess? Just give him anything with meat in it. Understood. Despite how much attention her maid outfit drew on the streets, no one's even giving her a second glance in here. That's how I feel at conventions. You know, you wear cosplay anywhere else and everyone stares at you, but you wear it at a convention. Totally normal. She's talking to her fans. Okay. Got it. As Mina left, I leaned in closer to the two guests sitting next to me. Hey, is she famous or something? You don't know Mina? She's the Cinderella maid. Cinda what? She's an internet idol who launched to fame because of her dancing videos. It all started when someone recorded and uploaded a video of her dancing at a maid cafe. Oh, I remember that. Still can't believe a low-resolution video like that could actually hit 1 million views. Huh. Mina herself doesn't have any online presence, so the only way to meet her is go to her cafe. It's probably to maintain the mystery surrounding her character. There aren't too many online idols with absolutely zero personal information floating around these days. I'm back. I hear you uploaded videos on the internet, like dancing and stuff? Mina sprayed her drink all over the counter. Jesus. I was just surprised to hear the word internet leave your mouth. Anyway, the videos are there, but I'm not the one uploading them. Someone records my events in secret. The only one I made myself was a promotional video the maid cafe asked me to do. Is it that fun? I suppose so, in a way. Though a lot of the comments tend to be pretty rude. Still, the video also drew in tons of new people at the cafe. Where do you work as a maid anyway? What? I mean, there's plenty of other kinds of jobs out there. Is it the money? Do they pay you well? I don't know. I ask that question myself from time to time. I wanted to dress up in cute clothes. Me and you both. That's all I want to do. That's all. Yeah, I'm on my way. Sorry, but I gotta run. That's alright. I'll see you tomorrow then. Take care. You too. Leaving a few bills on the table, I stepped out of the cafe and tried to remember the easiest way to the house of the woman who had just called me. See you tomorrow, huh? Man. I tried to snort, but ended up heaving a sigh instead. The breath I exhaled turned white for a split second before melting into the black of night. After splitting with Mina, I spent some time thinking, as I walked through the dark streets. That maid's resigned smile kept flashing into my mind. Felt like I'd seen that smile somewhere before. It reminded me of a familiar feeling deep within me. It was probably just a delusion on my part, born from my inflated ego and possessiveness. At least, I thought it was. No night was without end. Ah! As our moist skin touched, I felt almost like I'd melt alive. Okay. Okay. So he stayed at this girl's place? Is that what I'm gathering? Yeah. Oh, by the way, I tried to put the chat box on like the video view. If y'all can see it. I can't see it on my screen, but if y'all can see it on the the camera. It's on screen now. Yeah, I don't know. I believe he stayed at this woman's house. If you know what I mean. But I guess nights like this aren't too bad either. Oh, you can see it? Good. Okay. I want to make sure it works. I close my eyes and let the cigarette smoke billow around me. I shouldn't smoke. Hearing someone's voice from behind me made me jump. Oh! She's back! The girl pressed a finger to her lips, stopping the scream in my throat. You shouldn't wake her. It took a long time for her to finally fall asleep. I took a step away from the girl and lit another cigarette, despite still feeling a little on edge. She had to be a manifestation of the stress that had been building in me from doing all sorts of things outside my comfort zone. I figured I'd just have to ignore her and she'd eventually disappear. Come now, I told you to stop doing that. I once again made my attempt to ignore the strangely translucent girl, but her voice rang out like it was speaking directly into my brain. You don't do it knowingly, I see. The girl closed her big round eyes in reprimanding fashion. I exhaled a silent breath, neither acknowledging nor denying her statement. Are you freezing out here? Smoking is bad enough. You don't want to compound it with a cold. It's going to affect your lungs. When she said that, I nearly dropped my cig. How do you... I'm your nurse, remember? My lips were quivering at this point, but all she did was smile. I was going to have to seriously reevaluate some things. Well... Who are you? I'm Mamiya. Oh, I forgot. Mamiya is British, right? You're Mamiya. The moon shone upon the two figures standing in the balcony. The silky hair of the girl calling herself Mamiya gleamed in the cold evening light. The air spreading through my lungs was a mixture of cigarette smoke and inertia. Inertia? Okay. Interesting choice. This town had changed its appearance in the time between the last and first trains. The slumbering souls made no sound. They merely drifted around in limo, waiting for the sky to whiten. Hey, want to take a short walk? As I turned my head, Mamiya was there smiling in the darkness. We made our way down the street in the middle of the night. The world was at its strangest between 3 and 4 in the morning. Agreed. The majority of people around would be in their beds, unable to even perceive it. But to me, it was the most important hour of the day. It's the witching hour. Mamiya, as cheery as ever, walked beside me with calm, deliberate steps. I slowed my pace to allow her short legs to catch up. My thoughts kept coming back to Natsume's death. I wondered if spending time with that maid had affected my brain. Concept I was all too familiar with, that always hung around me. Everything about Natsume's passing was shrouded in mystery. His body was discovered after he had gone missing for 3 days, and by the time of the funeral, it had already been cremated. All we did was place flowers on a closed coffin. And there were plenty of rumors. Some thought it was an accident, others speculated murder. The possibility of suicide came up as well, of course. I don't understand why he had to die. He wasn't the type to just... The maid's words grew louder in my head the more I thought about Natsume. Was that... Lightning had struck somewhere. It's alright. Everything's alright, Haruki. Did it light anything on fire? I wonder how it felt to be struck by lightning. Probably not good, my dude. What would be the last thing you saw before getting fried alive? I see. Sorry for not being much help, Mina. It's okay, I do appreciate your assistance. The guys by the door started talking again. They were discussing their hobbies, having a good time with their friends. I inspected the fully decorated Christmas tree just to kill some time. It was covered in illumination. The sight of it made me feel nostalgic. It was warm to the touch. Clutching it harder made my fingers also reflect the light. My eyes met Mina's for a moment, but she simply shook her head in response. It would help if we could figure out where he was during the time he went missing. Yeah. The main street had been decked out in Christmas lights, making the town look even livelier than usual. When I spotted Mina blowing some warm air into her hands, my body moved on its own, and I gently placed my jacket on her shoulders. What gives? Just put this on. Thank you. I don't really need it, though. I'm used to handing out flyers at this time of year. Besides, it kinda undermines the point of me wearing this cute outfit. Never sacrifice the fit. Oh? Oof. Are you okay? Oh, I'm sorry. He must have been watching the decorations. Come on, apologize to the nice lady. I'm sorry. It's alright. I understand about being excited about Christmas. I am too. Mina gently squeezed the kid's hand and urged him to follow his family. They turned around a few times, bowing their heads until they finally disappeared into the crowd. In that moment, my eyes met with some kids. I averted my gaze almost unconsciously. I gazed to my side and saw Mina still waving them goodbye with a warm smile. Are you planning to spend Christmas with someone special? I don't do that kind of stuff. I wonder how your partner feels about that. She understands. Well, I don't. He'd do a flirt? Oh, with the jacket? Yeah. Indeed. Also, fun fact, in Japan, I've heard Christmas is like a couple's holiday. It's not like for your family. You know, in America, we always like go home, but in Christmas, or around Christmas time, Japan, it's like Valentine's Day, but not. You know? Anyway, fun fact. You're not controlled by anyone and you're making your own world. You should try it for a change. I didn't care that it would last. I was prepared for that. Rather than chewing on tasteless gum forever, or try to slow down a movie until it was worse than watching paint dry, I'd rather go out quick, preferably with a bang. I was used to being alone. It wasn't like people could just become someone else. Is that foreshadowing? What if Natsume is Mamiya? Maybe? I don't know. Mina, however, simply smiled back at me in silence. That sounds a lot like something Natsume told me a while ago. Oh, really? Yeah, he said it didn't matter how much people loved each other, how much time they spent together. In the end, it still doesn't change the fact that they were alone. I get the feeling he meant it in a slightly different way, though. He always put some distance between himself and others. He preferred spectating things from afar. The town has really soaked up the Christmas spirit, hasn't it? Something about the maid suddenly changed. Almost like she was desperate to force memories of Natsume out of her mind. Yeah. I'm sure you'll just spend the holidays with some random girl's place, though. We'll see. I exhaled a long breath and admired the garlands hung on the doors in various shops, as well as the red lamps glued to the streetlights. Christmas always ends up reminding me of home. Never mind. Forget I said anything. Come on, talk to me. It's a pretty lame story. The kind that happens to everyone. Well, then maybe it'll help us discover something we have in common. We had a large Christmas tree in the living room. My brother and I would pull out this box. It was pretty much just collecting dust during the majority of the year. But when Christmas rolled around, we'd go get it, pick the ornaments we want to use, Both the paper boxes for holding presents and shiny ball ornaments were a lot lighter than they looked. We took extra care to make sure the tree looked beautiful. It was my job to put the star on top. I couldn't reach it by myself, so I had to stand on a chair. Then we waited for Dad to come home and had a feast with dinner and cakes for dessert. Pretty boring story, huh? Not at all. I really enjoyed it, if you say so. For a while we kept walking without saying anything to each other. But then Mina suddenly stopped before a corner and turned to face me. If you really have no plans to spend Christmas with anyone in particular, how about coming over to my cafe? We'll be holding our own Christmas party. Oh, wow. A wholesome story. It'll be tons of fun. All the maids are going to bake cakes. We even have a girl who actually attends a pastry school. Her cakes are just as good as the ones you can buy at shops. Huh. May not be as memorable as your childhood, but do come if you're in the mood, okay? I bet you're just trying to increase your sales. Perhaps. I'll think about it. Please do. With that, Mina clasped the hem of her skirt and gave me a deep curtsy. For a brief moment, the bustling cityscape around us ceased to exist. I felt like I'd just been transported into a different dimension altogether, like a Victorian castle or an old mansion. Christmas party, huh? As I exhaled the cigarette smoke, the scent of vanilla hit my nostrils. I hurriedly tightened my facial muscles to stop my lips from curling into a faint smile. I didn't even remember the last time I spent Christmas with anyone. It didn't matter who my girlfriend was at the time. It was just one day of the year I'd always kept free. It wasn't like I'd do anything special either. A bit of pachinko, some fast food, then I'd go home and crash. Just another day of my life. I'd never questioned it before, but now... I turned around only to get immediately punched in the face. Okay. Whomst is it? I threw a quick counter jab at the guy but missed and lost my balance. Whoa! What followed was sharp pain in my back. Someone had just kicked me. What the... He wasn't alone. He grabbed me by the hood and pulled me to the alleyway where he proceeded to beat the living hell out of me. You thought you could get away with stealing my woman? What? How long were you planning to keep this up, huh? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There's a lot of fighting in this game. Like a lot. The pain mounted and my body began to feel heavier. I looked into the distance with a faint glare and saw a seemingly happy family walking along the street. Haruki? Mamiya appeared near a garbage heap. You look like you're in pain. I have to treat your wounds. No need. I'll live. Why? Why didn't you call me? I didn't want anyone's help. The nurse call button exists to be pressed, you know. Even supposing I did that, what could you have done? I staggered to my feet and began walking away. Where are you going? Are you looking for her? That's a great idea. I'm sure she'll patch you up. Shut up. Even after I covered Mamiya's mouth with my hand, I could still hear a muffled chuckle. A movie theater? I didn't realize they showed movies this late into the night. One adult ticket, please. You don't need to buy one for me. Children don't seem to be allowed inside anyways. There's almost no one in here. Likely because you're the only one who actually watch movies at this hour. It's a small theater. It's almost always like this. Oh, this isn't your first time then? I come here whenever I can't sleep. I see. Now that you mention it, you used to read a lot, didn't you? Seriously, who are you? I've told you, I'm Mamiya. How come I'm the only one that can see you? You're the only one that called the nurse call button. Why do you know things about me? I'm one of the few who understands you. Yeah, right. I mean it. I also know about the island that your brother talked about. What does that mean? Why do you know that? The lights were still on. I stood up and approached Mamiya. Haruki? I'm gonna ask again. Who are you? And why do you know so much about me? Calm down, Haruki. You even know about the treasure island. Haruki, you're hurting me. That island. It doesn't exist. Before I knew it, the lights had already gone out and the movie began to play. Wait. No. This wasn't the thing I bought tickets for. Hello? Haruki? I had to stand up. I had to get back on my feet as soon as possible. My body, however, suddenly felt like it weighed 1,000,000 tons. I couldn't move. My neck refused to move. The film continued to play, and I was forced to watch it against my will. The face of a man I didn't recognize. Filth that reminded me of the vermin crawling on the ground was all over the screen. Abuse, tragedy upon tragedy. I was having trouble breathing. Poor, poor thing. A low voice, devoid of emotion. Yet even still, I understood. The freezing chill of the snow sticking to my face felt heavy and painful beyond words. You will be unable to love anyone for the rest of your life. What? Haruki? It's all right. Everything will be all right. I'm right here with you. Mamiya stroked my back with slow, gentle movements. I felt frustrated and miserable. Treasure Island. A small patch of dirt on England's sea. Despite the name, it had very few treasures to offer. It was mostly just an uninhabited island with year-round snow due to its altitude. How do you feel, Haruki? Better today. The air pressure's gotten higher. So, where are you taking me today? How about Barcelona? Ooh, I want to go to Barcelona. Back in the day, I spent more time at the hospital than at home. I barely even showed up at school. Had no friends to speak of either. My brother was pretty much the only person I'd interact with. I would discuss everything with him. He was like a close friend. Even popsicle sticks could build a mountain, provided you have enough of them. I used to build like bookshelves out of popsicle sticks. Like whole bookshelves. I would keep my manga on them. I'd build like doll houses out of them too. Great times. And that might have been enough for me at the time. While I was stuck in the hospital room, my brother would tell me stories about foreign lands while he was pointing them on a guidebook map. He had studied overseas multiple times, but he couldn't have visited every single location that came up. I recall the popsicle stick tower of One Piece books. Yes, I had a popsicle stick bookshelf tower that just had One Piece books on it. Yet mysteriously enough, his stories made me feel like I could almost smell the places he talked about. What are we gonna do today? Let's see. That's odd. I could have sworn I had that one book with me. Are we taking a break? I guess it was bound to happen at one point. No, we're doing it as usual. So today I'll tell you about the Treasure Island. Treasure Island? But I've already read that novel. Not so fast. The Treasure Island I'll tell you about isn't the one you've heard of. It's a small island to the north of Great Britain. A quiet, serene little place. The sun barely ever shines there, you know. It's a world shrouded in silver, with snow as far as the eye can see. There's a lone house standing there, though. Its windows are lit up, but if you go in to investigate, you'll find the house completely empty. Here's the thing, though. There's warm bread and even some soup on the table, almost like someone's been anticipating your arrival. Despite constant pauses and interruptions, my brother gradually revealed the story of the so-called Treasure Island. I was completely enraptured by his tale, and even asked a bunch of questions of my own. My brother would close his eyes and heave a long sigh, then dutifully answer each and every one of them. For me, that was enough. The treasure island had become the only place where I could escape the white ceiling and the pain in my lungs. The island my brother did his best to tell me about had become my personal sanctuary. Morichika! Were you listening? No. Are you feeling alright? You'll never love anyone. What? Sorry, I gotta run a quick errand. Is this about some woman again? What if it is? I see. In that case, I shouldn't be taking up any more of your time. Right. See you later. Take care. Whew. You'll never love anyone? Shut up. Haruki? Oh, sorry. You startled me. I'll lower the volume. Nah, don't worry about me. I just dozed off. Can't believe I'm letting a few stupid words get to me. I crunched the cigarette pack in my hand. I hung my head to try and hide my face. I found a place that might help us learn something new about Natsume. It's a used bookstore he used to frequent. Come on, Morichika, let's go in... Yeah, I'll pass today. I see. That's a shame. Morichika, today should be a good... No good. I gotta drop by this chick's place. Okay. Homie, you're doing it to yourself, buddy. She's right in front of you, man. Your face tells me you want to say something. Could it be that you're not feeling up for that Christmas party? What makes you say that? I mean, you've been avoiding me ever since that day. Well, about that. You'll never love anyone. I'm sorry if I did anything to upset you, but at least tell me the reason. It was the same with Natsume. He never told me anything. This has nothing to do with that. Then tell me. Haruki. There's no special meaning behind Natsume's death. None at all. And there's nothing off about it. Huh? Why are you saying this all of a sudden? Stop pretending you don't know. You're just scared to accept reality. That's not true. Natsume really did. He's dead. And he's not coming back. You're the only one in the entire world who actually thinks he might still be alive. Stop it. You're the only one who's trying to attribute some meaning to his death. Why are you saying all this? Well, it was a pretty good way to kill some time, I'll give you that. A way to kill time? It's the only reason I did all this. But I got bored, so I figured I might as well let you know. You see, sure, I enjoyed playing detective for a while, but I've had enough. The maid's expression changed. You've been lying to me all this time? I should have known. She then curtly turned around and walked off. Well, I slowly pulled my arm back after realizing I unconsciously reached toward her. Bro! I ended up all alone, with the cold winter air my only companion. But wasn't that what I wanted? I brought it to end with my own 2 hands, and yet I simply stood there, unable to move an inch. I hadn't seen the maid since that day. Her phone number, which was the only thing connecting us, no longer worked. Uh-oh. The 5th exit of Hakihabara Station. This reminds you of your ship in D&D? Ah, I see. Found myself waiting here for a whole day. Now that I think about it, I never learned her name. Hey Morichika, how you doing? Hey Saito, yeah, I'm fine. Man, I haven't seen you in a while. The guys are starting to suspect you might have kicked the bucket. Uh-oh. had been my dream to live free where I wasn't chained down by anything. And that dream came true. I was living that very life right now. Whatever. Never even liked that maid to begin with. Good riddance, I say. No one likes a loud, impulsive brat. Clear, innocent eyes. The way she tried to come to terms with Natsume's death. Sounds like you think differently, good sir. My phone suddenly rang. Suppressing my excitement, I quickly pushed the answer button. Come on, I thought... Hello? Haruki? Oh, Maki. What's that tone supposed to mean? I was worried you might have died. Well, I'm real thankful for your concern. Sounds like it was a good thing I called. You free tonight? I'll come over. After arriving at the apartment, I nearly forgotten the way to. I pulled Maki into my arms and kissed her before she even had the chance to greet me. Many nights had come and gone since then. It's so cold. You okay, Haruki? Yeah. Oh, the movie had already ended. As people around me began to file out of the room and lights came back on, I didn't even remember what kind of movie I'd watched. It took all I had to keep it together. As loneliness crashed down on me like a hydraulic press. My eyes hurt from the neon lights of nighttime streets. Morichika. There was no one behind me. Up until now, I had viewed people as expendable commodities. I thought you could change friends and women like clothes. Even if you lost one, you could make another one. The cool December air bit into my skin with the chilliness of cold rejection. I had met countless people, yet made not a single genuine connection. And in that sense, it was funny how our society actually functioned. You could only become part of the group by suppressing your own individuality. Like the dull pieces of concrete that made up this town. I knew that. I had known that all along. The smell of the hospital, the clean, sterile air. I felt like it had the power to erase everything you've ever known. I thought I was the one holding the reins. I thought I could easily have everything back, so much of it wished for it. I should have stopped her. So why didn't I? All I had to do was take a single step. Why was I scared? I looked up and saw Mamiya standing before me. Haruki? Her skirt danced gently in the breeze like a flower, within the jet-black darkness of the night. I found myself thoroughly captivated by her. I exhaled a hot, white breath. The very air around Mamiya gave off a faint glimmer, like something from another dimension. It had begun to snow. Yet Mamiya kept her gaze focused on me. I had experienced nights like this countless times before, enveloped by a cradle of loneliness. I felt like my very existence was being rejected. Why do you keep showing up before me? Because I'm Mamiya. You make me sick. Go away. I can't. I'm your friend, remember? My friend? Yes. You're pretty goddamn persistent for a mere hallucination. That's not true. Yeah, right. Sorry. Look at me. I can't see a thing. Look. What's the point of looking at a hallucination? Then at the very least, I'd like you to push the nurse call button. Uh-oh. Please, Haruki. You need to seek help in times of hardship. Shut up. You're not alone. That single careless utterance of hers brought my blood to a boil. No one was there for me, okay? No one's gonna come to help even if I scream. So what's the goddamn point? Everyone's got their hands full with their own lives. They have no time to babysit others. And most of all, I just don't want to experience the emptiness. asking my own echo for help. You're the only one for me. Is that because you're a delusion I created? Yes. I'm Mamiya, a being that came into existence for your sake alone. Here, can you see me? Mamiya gently touched my cheeks. I couldn't really tell if her hands were warm or not because of the cold. I can't. Feel my touch. Her arms wrapped around my neck. Her gaze pierced through me. The snow kept piling up around us. The boundary between Mamiya and myself began to grow hazier and hazier. Almost out of reflex, I ended up hugging her. Oh. How about now? Yeah, I can feel you just fine. I poured more strength into my embrace, not wanting to let go of her, to protect myself from the cold. Haruki, Mamiya. Yes? Don't leave me alone. I won't. I'll stay with you forever. So tell me, what should I do? We'll figure it out together. Together. Just you and me. Just you and I. I'm sure to go well. It's all right. Your pain has reached me, along with your cries for help. Thank you for pressing the nurse call button. Day or night, I'll always call for you. Always. Mamiya continued pressing her body against mine without saying another word. I wondered, when all my wants and wishes had dried up, when I no longer felt the desire for anything in this town, what would become of me then? Haruki? Yeah? You were thinking about another girl, weren't you? Come on, you know you're the only one for me. You don't need to lie. I could tell by the way you were touching your neckline. Your necklace. You looked a million miles away. Why don't you go to her? There's no way I would... You can. Go make up with her. Come on, don't look at me like that. I even went on my way to cook for you. I wasn't expecting anything special, you know. I only called you because I felt like it. But there's no point to this if you keep making that face. Just bring a present, apologize like a man, and the rest will sort itself out. In your case, anyway. It's not like that. It's not like that. It's, wait a sec. You're telling me you've no idea how to make up with a friend after a fight? I had a friend like that. He still doesn't know how to do it. I felt dumbfounded for a moment. I didn't know how to make up with a friend. For some reason, that struck me something very deep within me. Up until now, if I got into a fight with someone, I'd just cut them off. There's 130 million people in this country. Losing one didn't seem like a big deal. I figured I'd just have to find someone new and that'd be that. I finally came to the realization that I had no idea how to repair a bridge that had been burned. Making up with your girlfriend, making up with your boyfriend. Come on, I know way more about this stuff than these keyboard warriors combined. Present is the perfect excuse to start a serious conversation. Then it hit me. It was almost Christmas. We'll be holding our own Christmas party. Do come by if you're in the mood, okay? Quick lurk couldn't hurt, I guess. So I came all the way here. But now the issue is actually at hand. I realized I had no idea what to give to her. I kept lingering in that painful Christmassy store. I ran my gaze across the great for presents section, but nothing really caught my eye. Elegant necklaces and rings, the kind most women die for, glimmered alluringly behind the showcase window. One of them was actually pretty similar to something I'd once gotten a girl. But man, what would Mina be happy with? That was the $1 million question right there. and the answer was shrouded in a thick fog. After giving the various pieces of jewelry another cursory look, I ended up walking out of the store. I came upon a Christmas merch corner with its own lit-up Christmas tree. Let's see, some hideous-looking wooden carvings of Santa, large garlands to decorate your walls or doors. I doubted any of these would make her happy. They had no practical use, and besides, they might not even fit her taste. Also, she'd just end up throwing them out once Christmas was over. The next time she'd think of them would be in a year. Yeah, I'm done. Heaving a brief sigh, I started walking away, then... Oh, a snow globe caught my eye. It had a house standing in the middle of a snowy field. The roof was covered in a thick layer of snow, but the windows gave off a warm, reassuring light. The way it lit up the falling snow inside the globe looked really pretty. I found its scenery oddly familiar. I'd never lived in a place like that before, but there was something vaguely nostalgic about it. Not at all. I really enjoyed it. I recalled what she said to me that day. Right, it looked like the treasure island my brother told me about. I picked up one of the globes on display. I felt like I was holding a tiny fragment of another world. I wanted her to know. I wanted to show her the scenery. The plastic bag rustled in the cold wind. Its sound made my lips curl into a faint smile. I hoped that bread he made would like it. You look happy, Haruki. 'Cause I am. Take a look at this, Mamiya. Oh, what a beautiful snow globe, right? I've been staring at it for a while now. I just like it very much. I won't keep it for much longer, though. Why is that? Because I'm giving it to a certain someone. Oh, I see. If you're so fond of it, though, why not keep it? You don't get it, do you? You think so? To you, it might be the most amazing thing in the world, but you can't be sure if the other person will also appreciate it just as much as you do. It hurts when another person rejects something you really like. So rather than risk that happening, I think it's much safer to keep it to yourself. Don't you agree, Haruki? Are you really sure you want to give that snow globe anyway? It's what I bought it for. I see. Look, it's already midnight. We should go to bed. You're right. Good night, Haruki. Mamiya! What are your plans? Alright. Mina's back. Let him simp. I agree. The man should have a right to simp. It's our God-given right. Okay, so Mina's just talking to customers. You told me to come. That's right, I almost forgot. Wait. What do you want? Let me go. Are you even listening to me? If you want something, go ahead and say it already. I wanted to apologize. You've got nothing to apologize for. We were just killing some time, remember? Yeah, I know. At first, I did genuinely feel that way. I thought you were pretty stupid getting so obsessed over Natsume's death. But we never find out why he left his phone with you. He probably just did it on a whim. Look, it doesn't matter anymore. It does to me. I brought you a present. Isn't it a bit too late to start treating me like a girl? Look, it's Christmas. And I wanted to, you know, do the whole exchange presents thing. So I got this for you. I took out the present from my bag. I wrapped it up myself. The maid gasped. You open it. Her voice was trembling. I slowly undid the ribbon. and revealed the snow globe to her. Uh-oh. Wow, it's beautiful. The maid studied the snow globe on my palm. The genuine admiration in her voice filled my heart with warmth. It sure is. The tiny pellets of snow continued whirling around inside the globe, each reflecting a tiny snippet of light, which was, in turn, reflected in the maid's deep, dark eyes. She slowly raised her face. Our eyes met. You got this for me? I wanted you to see the scenery. I wanted to show you. Thank you. No problem. It's such a beautiful snow globe. I know. It really looks just like the Treasure Island. Oh. All of a sudden, I felt like the entire world had gone silent. The Treasure Island? Sorry, I must have been thinking out loud. I heard about it a long time ago from someone very close to me. Apparently there's a treasure island somewhere in this world. You mean the one from the movies, right? No, not at all. I started to feel like it's a lonely little island where it snows all year round. A sandcastle inside me had just begun to collapse. How does she know? What? The place is completely shrouded in silence. There's no people around. Only a single house. All the sound had died down. Sure, there may be no treasures or anything like that, but it's a warm, inviting place nonetheless. A wonderful island that belongs to just the two of us. Something that had existed deep within my very core suddenly disappeared without a trace. You really did pick out a wonderful present, Mortika. Without being able to even raise my face, I let the snow globe and its miniature world fall from my hand. The cozy little house, along with the snow-laden field and the glass globe, all shattered with a loud crash when it hit the floor. Oh, that's rough, buddy. The air froze around us. Mortika, are you alright? You gotta be kidding me. Mortika? Aww. Does it boost your sense of self-worth to tease all those miserable guys? And that story about a treasure island? That's even more hilarious than the fact you actually thought I cared about your little investigation. Look, it's all made up, okay? To think you actually believed it? Are you embarrassed? There's no way in hell an island like that could ever exist. I think you should leave. I made a mistake inviting you. I want you to leave. Right now. Frankly, I'm disappointed. I stared at the hospital's white ceilings. As memories of the maid I had failed to make up with drifted through my mind. You will never love anyone. I thought I'd been handling it pretty well. For someone who could only ever live in the moment, I couldn't stay with one woman for too long. Yeah, that's the kind of person I am. Friends, they didn't matter. I could never be in the loop anyway. You won't ever love anyone. They were just words. And yet, they followed me like a curse. Incapable of love, my heart slowly turned to ice. The loneliness made my skin break out in goosebumps. No matter how warm the air, I'm always freezing to my core. It's like I'm constantly holding ice. And as it thaws, all I got is water running down my fingers. That's why I told you to keep it to yourself. If you'd only stayed alone, you could have stayed alone. You wouldn't have to get hurt. I'm not like the others. Embrace me and I won't ever betray you. I'll love you forever. I'll heal all your wounds. Thanks. It might not be so bad being alone. Especially if you're always there for me. That's right. I'm always there with you, even if you're alone. The snow fell harder and harder, and began to pile on top of me. How many hours or days has it been? I kept wandering with no particular goal in mind. I'd even lost track of the passage of time. I couldn't stop coughing. I'd lost my inhaler a long time ago. Wait, is this student council boy, no? Yes? Right? From the last story? Tojo, what's wrong? Oh, nothing. I'm fine. Hey, aren't you cold? The place over there serves amazing lattes. Hey, that sounds great. Let's take a look. Wow, yay. I kept walking with a vacant look in my eyes. I averted my gaze from the illuminations, the cheerful couples, the happy families with their shopping bags full of cakes and fried chicken. I turned my back to the world at large. None of it had anything to do with me. Complete indifference and crushing loneliness. Like a dark, endless void. The lights were getting too bright. My throat, the dizziness, the pain. I suddenly felt a sharp pain in my chest. I crumpled to the ground, desperately trying to catch my breath. Uh-oh. Gritting my teeth, I simply waited for the pain to pass, but it never did. I looked up in hopes of finding help, but no one cared to even meet my gaze. Almost like I was invisible. The gleaming illuminations, the display windows reflecting dreams of children, the cheerful Christmas song that enveloped the town, they surrounded me, and yet only I was still alone, cut off from the rest of the world. Someone, anyone, please help me. Mamiya. No! It's alright. I'm always here for you, Haruki. Make it stop. I can't stand the loneliness anymore. I doubted anyone else was looking forward to the end of the world as much as I did. My life had always felt like I'd been watching it in third person, like a movie. If it were to end, I'd want it to be a spectacle. Make it an ensemble cast, work even, something large scale that would downplay my personal pain. That way I wouldn't have to bear the shivering on my own. Wait, haven't we heard that before? Did he say that earlier? Or didn't we hear that in the prologue? I'm confused. I'm confusing myself. To tell the truth, I've always hated everything. This cheerful town, the happy families, and every single Christmas I had to spend alone. I see. Sound of rolling film, the persistent noise of the projector, sparse seats, lights near my feet. You have a choice. You can always stand up and leave before the film goes off the rails. This cold clockwork town. Come with me. I kept on watching a long, long movie. To the wonderful boundless world of the Trichologus. Oh. They said this word last time. Is this a made-up word? Is it? Hold on. I have to look this up because I don't even know. Trichilocosm? Trichiliocosm, a concept in cosmology of a third-order universe containing 1,000 second-order clusters, which are made of 1,000 first-order clusters, which are in turn made of 1,000 worlds each. Billion-fold universe. That explained nothing to me. I'm still just as confused as I was before. How do you pronounce it? Hold on, I'm so sorry. Trichiliocosm. Okay. Well, I'll have to do further research into that because I have no idea what any of that means. It's a universe on top of a universe on top of a universe? Is that what that means? That's what I'm getting out of it. Okay. The crowd froze, as if time itself had come to a halt. The snow continued piling atop Morichika's back. I brushed it off and touched his hand. It was deathly cold, heart-wrenchingly sad. Who are you? It was the same guy, right? This is the same guy from the last one who showed up at the very end. But we don't know who he is. Attention! The door to the institution has been unlocked. Press restart on the title screen. Alright, that's another one down. Another one down, folks. What do we think? We have thoughts, we have opinions. While we discuss, I'm going to take my contacts out. And by discuss, I mean whatever my lovely sister would like to send in the chat. What do you think, bro? Another one bites the dust. Hell yeah, man. I bet all of you wanted to watch me take my contacts out on live. I have eye drops right next to me, but like, ugh, it's probably better to take them out. It's been a long day. Okay. Ooh, that's better. I want to know what the institution is. I also would like to know what the institution is. It confuses me greatly. This whole game confuses me. Like, the way it's structured, it keeps changing perspectives. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whoever's talking, and I get so confused. It's like breaking walls that don't exist, if that makes sense. Ugh. Anyways, y'all want to do another round? Or at least start one? I don't know, I don't know how many stories there are. Ugh. Alright. Let's do another one. Natsume died. Skip all this. I've seen this before. 5 times. Okay. We have decisions. So, the first time we took a seat on the left. The second time we took a seat deeper in. Are we going to the exit or are we going to the right? Abscond? To the exit? Exit it is. I took a seat close to the exit. I'll sit next to you if you don't mind. Oh, it's Puppy Boy! Yay! Also, who are we in this part of the story? Because in the rest of the stories, we are the people we sit next to, but in this part of the story, we're completely somebody else? Anyways. Okay, we've seen all this too. Are we curious? We were curious last time, no? Let's be curious again. Oh. Maybe I shouldn't have skipped that. Talk to the... Did we have this option last time? Did we talk to the boy, go outside, or stay put? thinking maybe... I think we talked to him last time. Did we? I thought last time we had the option to like, it was like take a seat deeper in or something, but this is different, isn't it? Let's go outside. Yes. The cold December air outside the church felt unusually pleasant. I walked around for a bit until my eyes met another student's. Hello. Oh, hello. Are you also attending Natsume's funeral? Yeah, I was. I'm pretty sure he meant a lot to me. You're pretty sure? It's an oddly vague way of putting it. Oh, sorry. I was very young at the time, so I'm not entirely sure. But Natsume probably lived in my neighborhood. And we often played together. I can remember it like it was yesterday. On an especially snowy day during the winter, we ended up building a snowman together. We looked around for sticks and leaves to give it a face, too. I was in charge of making the face, and I remember making use of all the stuff we gathered together. We used red fruits for the eyes, a large leaf in place of the nose, and an arch stick for its mouth. Was it cute? Oh, yes, very. Looking back at it, Natsume probably just wanted me to have the most fun part. Yeah, he was so nice. And now he's dead, isn't he? Can't see him again. Yeah. I'm sorry, I got a little carried away. Oh, it's fine. I'm actually glad to have heard a Natsume story I wasn't aware of. Really? I'm glad you liked it. Yes? Well, it might be rude of me to say this, and I don't want you to get upset, but you kind of remind me of him a little bit. I see. Goodbye then. Take care. You too. A person's death. This was the first time I experienced the death of someone I knew. All my grandparents were thankfully still alive, so I never actually attended a funeral before. The church had adopted an unusual scent, one of mourning. It made the place feel almost like it's been cut off from the rest of the world. I guess I'll never see Natsume again. The clouds gathered above were as dark as my mood. What did it mean for a person to die? Natsume had stepped off the stage of my life for good. And so I would continue to live a life filled with other people than him. Will I eventually die too? What did it mean to die? Where did people go when they died? To someone like me who had his hands full with the present, the very concept seemed fundamentally alien. I felt something moist on my nose. I put my hand out and immediately noticed a few raindrops on it. The droplets began to multiply, eventually filling the ground around me. It had begun to rain. I used my bag as a makeshift umbrella and hurried off to find shelter from the rain. A simple rainfall was enough to dispel all thoughts of funeral from my mind. The world would soon end. I didn't know how much truth there was to it, but people on TV and the news made it out to be a big deal. You could even hear people discussing it in class. Days went by as usual, without anyone truly comprehending that the world would end soon. I still didn't quite understand why I was here. I was certain that the end would happen in the blink of an eye. It would be simple and anticlimactic, like a burst of bubble soap. All right, and we start anew. Good morning, Suo. Good morning. Did you cast yesterday's show? Yeah, it's still great. I'd wake up in the morning, go to school, chat with my classmates, take classes. I'd always been surrounded by other people. Each and every one of them were thoroughly interested and unique. Thanks to them, I could spend every day with a smile. I'm back. Welcome home, Kato. What's for dinner, Mom? Hamburg steak. I know how much you love it. Yeah. Hey, Dad. Welcome home, Kato. Hi, you're home early today. Yeah, I actually managed to finish up all my work earlier than expected. Kato, have you washed your hands? I heard Ryota's caught a cold the other day. You should be careful. Okay, Mom. For as long as I could remember, my mother had always busied herself in the kitchen. She was a great cook. All of my friends who tasted her dishes told me how lucky I was. I had no frame of reference, of course, but their words still filled me with pride. My father worked as a policeman and would only come home late at night, if at all. But when he did, he'd always pat my back with a reassuring smile. His strong, firm hands made me want to grow up like him. Kato, we're leaving tomorrow. Are you sure you'll be alright on your own? Oh, his sweater is so cute! Mom, I'll be fine. I know how much detergent to use and where we keep the emergency money. I also know the number I need to call to reach you. Okay, you say that, but in the first story we found you washed up on the beach. So, how much do you really know? Come on, Kato's already 15. This will be a good experience for him. 15? My mother left me alone like at the age of 8. She was like, survive. I made an assertive nod. My folks used their days off to arrange a trip overseas. Some parents would devote all their attention to their kids, but mine still enjoyed having some alone time together. I found that to be great, honestly. I was hoping it'd also be like that when I got older. A few things worried me, but at the same time I could never bring myself to force them to stay. I wonder if we'll find out how that happened. I also hope we find out how he got washed up on the beach randomly. And yes, it is nice to be trusted, especially when you are the youngest entrusted to babysitting your older sibling. People were nice to me, and I'd enjoyed every single day to the fullest. And yet, I felt like there was something missing, like a piece of a puzzle. So I would continue searching for it. I felt almost like there was a snow-white mist blanketing my otherwise saturated life, blurring its outlines. All I wanted was a bit of adventure. That was probably it. That person being necessary to me was likely no more than a convenient excuse. Have you heard, Zuo? Club activities are canceled due to the rain. What? Awesome, we'll get to go home early today. I may not be the responsible sister, but that's it. That's the end of the thought. Hey, man, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. I just took all the responsibility, Jean. I jumped into the rain with a yell. There's a lot of rain in this game. Well, I guess it all takes place at the same time, right? I felt like that last guy's story went on for a really long time. I mean, like, not, like, really long time, but, like, in his story. Because he got all the way to Christmas. And he said multiple days passed. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna stop talking. On my way home, I spotted something passing by a park. A place I normally wouldn't have noticed on a usual day. In retrospect, it might have been fate, rather than sheer coincidence, that brought me here. The park was completely deserted due to the rain. Or so I had thought, but then I noticed a person sitting on the ground, almost like they were pretending to be another piece of playground equipment. Is it Ro? Ro? That was his name, right? The first guy? Whoa! I hurried to their side and desperately called out to them. Excuse me. Fatten droplets of rain trickled down down the lashes of his closed eyelids. It didn't seem like he'd wake up. I carefully touched his neck to check for a pulse. That's when I noticed him shivering. This is an emergency. His dark, almost foreign-looking skin was deathly cold to the touch. He'd freeze to death if he stayed here. Right. I took out the towel that I originally packed to use for club practice and began drying his hair. Please hold on. Let's see. In that moment, his eyes silently opened. His amber gaze bored into me. I found myself gasping. It seemed almost like his pair of amber eyes, were the only source of color in the heavy December rain. Stepping back to reality, I tried addressing him, but his eyes closed again before I could say anything. I had a bad feeling about this. Clutching his hand, I realized he'd grown even colder. What do I do? There was no one around to ask for help. I was the only one who could save him. Can you walk? The young man gave a slight nod. I had to help him. There was no one else who could. After making up my mind, I had him lean on my shoulder and we started carrying him all the way to the rain beat down on us. Back home, I made him lie down on the sofa and headed for the bathroom. After warming up the water, I hurried back with him with a bath towel. Please wake up. I desperately wiped the cold water off of him, hoping this would help warm him up a bit. His eyelids began to tremble as my light pink towel rubbed against his dark, almost cat-like hair. As his breathing intensified, a felt of relief washed over me. Oh, you're finally awake. Ooh. The next moment, however, he instantly pushed me aside and put some distance between the two of us. Beyond the curtain of his still wet locks, the man's amber eyes were like daggers piercing my skin. Where am I? As I took a step forward, still wondering how to answer, I realized there was something off about him. His breathing was unnaturally heavy and ragged. As he took a scanning glance around the room, looking positively wide-eyed, the young man grew even paler than before. Are you okay? When I took another few steps toward him, the dark-haired youth grabbed a pair of scissors lying next to our phone and pointed it straight at me. This is the same guy, right? From the first story? Where am I? My knees trembled like leaves in the wind. I was all of a sudden paralyzed by fear. Why did I bring this person into my house? My parents weren't home and they wouldn't be for a while. I was at a loss for what to do next. The man, still pale as a ghost, raised his voice to yell, almost as if to drag my inner thoughts into the open. Answer me, where am I? This is my house. And why am I here? Well, answer me. He stepped forward as if trying to force the answer out of me. This brought me closer to the scissors. My eyes were glued to the menacingly sharp tip. I wonder if these are all parallel universes. That's what I was wondering too, but then I was like, maybe... Because I thought maybe this would have been where the first story left off, because if you weren't watching the first part of this, we got this guy's story, and at the very end of it, he's like sitting by this fountain, and he had just almost killed his mother, right? And so he runs outside, and he like collapses outside this fountain, and it's raining. So I thought maybe this was like picking up where we left off, but in his story, these two characters already know each other. So he would know who this is, which is why I'm confused. Could it be parallel universes inside a bigger master universe? 1,000 little deaths? Okay, see that... I mean, yes. That would make sense with the that thing, you know, the word, the multi-universe thingy. So maybe that's what it is? IDK, I'm talking out of my ass. Yeah, no, me too. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Because I'm also very confused. The tricycle. Yes, the tricycle. The tricycle of universes. I found you unconscious in the park and you were soaking wet, so... In the park? Yes. The young man paused to think for a moment, but kept the scissors pointed at me. What did you do to me? Huh? Answer me. Nothing. I carried you here from the park and dried you off with a towel, that's all. I looked up. His prior animosity was gone from him. He now stood there with a downcast look, preventing me from reading his expression. I see. You were trying to help me, huh? Caught off guard by his gentler tone of voice, my mind was rendered completely blank for a brief moment. The young man then placed the scissors back on the table and turned around to leave. Wait! I've already warmed up the bath. You could use it if you like. I'll pass. But it's still raining outside. You might catch a cold. Let me out. His pained tone made me let out a gasp. For a short while, the only sound in the room was the soft pattering of water trickling down onto the floor from his clothes. Keep your distance from me. And with that, he disappeared into the rain. I stood in the foyer a long while after he left. I should have tried to stop him, even though I wasn't quite sure why I'd want to do that. Especially after how terrifying our first encounter had been. Speaking of which, I didn't even ask him his name. I was certain of one thing, though. I'd never forget the color of those eyes. Okay. In the first story with Scissor Boy, was it when he was on the beach, didn't he say something? He was like, this guy who washed up on the beach looks familiar, right? And he was like, no, maybe he doesn't. Maybe that was like the other universe trickling over into the other one? If that makes any sense. I don't know. Okay, he's just talking to his classmates. With umbrella in hand, I took my usual route home. Oh, I was trying my best not to think about it, yet before I knew it, there I was in front of the same park. I couldn't believe I was actually trying to run into that man again. I shouldn't do this. There was no way he'd be there again. I was just about to leave when I spotted something moving near the park's playground equipment. No way. Before I even had time to think, though, my body made me move on its own. Just as I had thought. It was the man from the other day. I moved closer to address him, but as I did, his pained expression flashed through my mind. Keep your distance from me. It would probably be better if I listened to his advice. My actions might only end up irritating him. I forced my eyes shut and attempted to leave when I heard a muffled groan. Getting too involved could be a bad idea. I'd just be a bother to him. Yet, despite my best effort as a self-restraint, I ended up turning toward the direction of his voice. You're bleeding! The sight of his blood made me immediately rush to his side. Excuse me. Taking quick, sharp breaths, the man wouldn't even open his eyes. Excuse me. I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to say his name and make him feel safe. A name I didn't even know. My lips trembled, unable to form any meaningful sentences. Like that version of him wasn't supposed to remember Suo, but it did somehow. Yeah! Yeah! Like the universes are linking into each other. Maybe that's why the world is ending. He still wasn't opening his eyes. Maybe I was sticking my nose where it didn't belong. Even still, I'm sorry, but I can't leave you like this. I grabbed his arm and slid it over my shoulder. He seemed to have been bleeding from his own stomach. While picking him up, I tried my best not to touch that area of his body. Please hold on. I like how these idiots fall in love at first sight regardless of which story we're in. Yeah, basically. They keep saying how uncaring and unfeeling they are, but it's 2 seconds in and they're just like, I gotta save this man I just met! Even if he tried to kill me with a pair of scissors! I headed home, the only difference between today and yesterday being the fact that I now had an umbrella. There's a joke in here somewhere about string theory and a ball of tangled yarn. Somewhere. I don't have the jokes yet, man. I'm sorry. I'm just the narrator. I sat down in an armchair and focused my gaze on a singular point. The dark-skinned youth was resting at my 2-seater sofa. The towel I placed on his stomach was stained red with blood. I desperately hoped that it wouldn't spread any further. Barely able to breathe, I crossed my hands and waited. The man's ear made a twitch. You mustn't push yourself. Your wounds look pretty deep as it is. Pressing the towel against his stomach, the young man carefully sat up on the sofa. Is this your doing? Why? Weren't you listening to me yesterday? I mean, it looked pretty serious. I'm sorry for being so meddlesome. I promise it's the last time. I know it might be difficult, but please try not to move. At least until the bleeding stops. He slowly touched the towel with his dark, slender fingers and watched as the blood continued to spread. The silence of the room felt like it would go on forever. At long last, he inhaled a short breath, and opened his mouth to speak. Where am I? Huh? At my house. That's not what I meant. I'm asking where this place is. I furrowed my brows, unable to comprehend the meaning of his question. Realizing that he'd get no answer out of me, the young man continued, taking great pains to squeeze out each word. Yesterday, I walked all over this town, but I couldn't recognize a single place I visited. Huh? Actually, I don't even remember anything from before I woke up yesterday. What do you mean? The young man's tone grew heavy, as if he himself had sort of difficulty believing his own words. I can't remember anything. Not where I live, what I was doing in the first place. Clutching his head, the man cast a gaze downward. In other words, you have amnesia? I never thought a day would come I'd say that sort of thing. In lieu of a reply, the young man knit his brows, and closed his eyes. I didn't know that was an expression. Knit your brows? That alone answered my question better than any words could have. The room was completely shrouded in silence. So much so that even the ticking of the clock began to irritate my ears. There's something I've been meaning to ask you. Sorry. Your name. Do you remember your name? What do you want to know? I just realized I don't know what to call you. Sorry, Ro. My name's Ro. Ro? The moment I heard that name, the person in front of me gained a clear outline from the first time. The amber flash of his gaze, the fingertips touching my towel, they were no longer things to be afraid of. I don't remember my last name. Oh. I'm Suo. Suo Keito. What are you planning to do now? Knitting your brows is like furrowing them, but angstier? Oh. Why didn't they just say that? Just kidding. I tried to cushion the question as best I could, but all Ro did was lower his eyes. Ro is so short, aren't she? Yeah. I mean, they did say he was a small boy. Didn't they? Well, Suo was also supposed to be like a giant, so that might not be helping his case at all. Averting his gaze, Ro made a bitter, self-deprecating smile. Can I say something strange? What? If it's okay with you, you can stay here until your memory returns. Huh? Do you have any idea what you're saying? Oh, I'm being meddlesome again, aren't I? I'm sorry, it's just... Don't you remember what I did yesterday? Or what I said yesterday? I do, but you were too confused at the time. There's no way I can blame you for that. I suppose you've got a point. Still. Oh, my parents are actually away on an overseas trip in the moment, so I've got plenty of empty rooms to spare. I don't think that's the issue here. Rose studied me with a look of disbelief on his face. You don't want to stay? More like, do you want me to? I mean, you're in trouble, aren't you? Rose's eyes widened in surprise. I'd appreciate the help. Yes. Our angsty small boy, accept the help. His answer came in a low, barely audible voice. Sure thing. With my parents gone, he'd have plenty of rooms to pick from. Having said that, I was hesitant to allow a stranger into our private space, so I ended up guiding him to our guest room instead. His little pajamas. This is where we keep all the futons. You'll find the bathroom down the hall. I opened a closet and helped him lay down a futon. After that, I continued explaining everything else he'd need to know. Once Ro had finished bathing, I lent him some of my clothes. They looked a touch baggy on him, but nothing too extreme. Ah! Look at him! Pretty big house you've got here. You think so? Aw, look at our besties. PJ party. Oh, I love them. I wouldn't necessarily say it's too big, though perhaps it is for someone living alone. Still, taking care of a house this size was no easy task. I only realized that once my mother had left. This is a fan fiction if I've ever read one. It really is. All the more reason for you to stay then. I could use the help. And I have read so much fan fiction. You and me both. I went through a major fan fiction phase once in my life. I say that now as if I'm not reading a visual novel currently in this very second. As if it ended. Anyways, my room's on the second floor. Don't hesitate to call me if you need something. Sure. Good night. Good night. My brain continued working at full throttle even after I'd climbed into bed. I literally wrote a fanfiction just 2 weeks ago, but my D&D shit. Oh, yeah, nice. Isn't playing D&D basically like live writing a fanfiction though? Kind of. Could he have been involved in some sort of accident? The shock from that would explain his memory loss. He might very well turn out to be someone dangerous. I wonder what my parents would have to say had they been here. That made Greg laugh, and also you're correct. I mean, you're acting out the characters in real time, right? D&D is just role-playing fanfic with friends. Yeah, it's just live-action fanfiction, you know? Even if that were the case, he meant no threat to me now. Plus, he had no one else to rely on. And besides, I couldn't bring myself to throw out a person with such a lonely look in their eyes. Stuck in a town he didn't recognize with no memories to help him. It must have been hard on his nerves. That said, amnesia, huh? It sounded like something straight out of a movie. I slowly drifted off to sleep. Look at the time! You're late! Mom, why didn't you wake? Morning. Oh, good morning. I'd completely forgotten about my parents and their trip, and the fact that a stranger was now staying in my house. So what are you gonna do now, Ro? I thawed the frozen rice and ate it with a bit of pollock roe. After helping himself to some pickles, the dark-skinned youth looked in my direction. My D&D ship basically killed Toru. We realized it while watching. Yeah. Look, some habits die hard. Once a fruits baskets fan, always a fruits basket fan. His big old yawn. He's adorable. Yes, I agree. Much cute. Ro, who had been calmly chewing his food until now, suddenly froze up and widened his eyes. You were just gonna leave me here alone in your house? Huh? You'd prefer to come with me to school? I'm not so sure that's a good idea. I'm not gonna do that, obviously. I just don't get why you feel safe leaving a stranger in your house while you're away. Yeah? I could rob you and stuff. Well, I mean, you're not the kind of person to do that though, right? No idea. You won't do anything of the sort. I'm sure of it. Okay. This man is too trusting. You won't, right? As I tilted my head with a smile, Ro simply averted his eyes. I'm not planning to, at least. See? Look, all I'm saying is that you should be more cautious. You think so? Yeah. With that, Ro stood up and carried his dishes to the sink. Oh, I didn't realize it was this late. I gotta go now. I'll head out as well. Oh, you're going somewhere? Maybe you'd be okay with it, but I don't want to spend the day sitting alone at some stranger's house. By the way, my club practice usually ends around 7. Make sure to come back by then. I might, if I feel like it. Ro gave me one final glance before closing the door. I gotta hurry as well. Alright, I'm off. After announcing my departure to the now empty house, I locked the door and left. Not having anyone see me off felt kinda lonely. I wanted to see Ro off at least, but even though we had just left the house moments earlier, he was nowhere to be seen. Good morning, Kato. I heard a voice from beside me and turned toward it with a smile. Morning! Wow, look at the time, you might want to hurry. Yeah, you're right, Mamiya. I made a warm smile. His name was Mamiya. He was a close friend of mine. So Suo knows him! Everybody else doesn't know who Mamiya is. Right? But he does? Interesting. What you thought invisible to people only existed in fiction? Sure enough, it had initially confused me as well. I mean, I just started hearing voices coming from thin air. My first thought was that it might have been a ghost. Some days I would sprinkle salt all over my room. On others I'd keep trembling and cycling in bed, unable to fall asleep. But as time passed, I started to put the pieces together. Mamiya was not a ghost. And although you couldn't see him, he did absolutely exist. He was also one of the few people who truly understood me. Good morning, everyone! Morning, Suo. You're looking better now. You got used to living alone, I take it. You could say that. Did you catch last night's show? I did. It was about some guy with amnesia. Amnesia? The moment I heard that word, my heart skipped a beat. How about you, Suo? Did you see it? No, I was really tired last night, so I ended up sleeping through it. Your loss, man. It was great. It genuinely made me think about what I'd do if I lost my memories. You think amnesia is really a thing? I mean, outside of movies? Movies. I recalled the young man that left my house earlier this morning. It was entirely possible that I had just gotten involved with the very thing they were discussing. I felt my cheeks heat up. Alright, that's it for today's practice. Thank you very much. Aww. I found Rose sitting near the front gate to my house. You surprised me. What are you doing here? You told me to come back before dinner. And I also told you where I hide my keys. You could have just waited inside. It's your fault. Huh? You really don't think things through. If you found me inside your house, you just end up wondering if I'd moved in or taken something. It's not a great feeling to have. Did you? Did you wait for me here just to give me peace of mind? Well, dressed so lightly too, he's still in his pajamas. Got a problem with it? How long have you been here? Hell if I know. I don't have a watch. Ro averted his gaze. His ears were beet red. As I grabbed Ro's hand, I noticed that his fingers had turned red from the cold. Oh. The touch of his freezing hand made me understand that he genuinely didn't have anywhere else to come but here. Thanks for coming back. Let's hurry inside. I'll get you something nice and warm to drink. Where were you during the day? Oh, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Downtown. I figured I'd look for something I might recognize. I was really thorough, too. Wait, does that mean you managed to remember something? No, not a thing. She's manifesting. Okay, so yeah, right? Anyway, a bit of food should cheer you up. There's still some of the karage that my mom left me. Karage? You don't know what karage is? It's a type of fried chicken that... Do you think I'm stupid or something? No, not at all. Where's this karage of yours? In the fridge. I'll go microwave it for you. You just sit back and relax. Wait for me here, okay? Relax. Like I could do that. Even the scent of this place is unfamiliar. Sorry it took so long, Ro. I brought the karage, plus some rice and condiments. What is this? You mean this book? It's been there for as long as I can remember. I recall rereading it multiple times back in elementary school. Ro? I know this book. The protagonist is a prince in the kingdom of the night. He travels the world in search of blue sky because none of his subjects know what it looks like. Did I get it right? Oh, is he blushing? Yeah, that's exactly how the story goes. Ro, I guess Memories do return after a while. Visibly relieved, Rose smiled in front of me for the very first time. Our life together turned out to be a lot nicer than I had anticipated. I didn't need to pay him any special attention. I finally had someone to play video games with to boot. He didn't come across as much of a gamer, but despite his initial clumsiness, he desperately strove to improve his play. I had never imagined that one day I'd be eating potato chips while having an all-night gaming session with someone. Living with him with tons of fun. How long were his parents gone? How long has it been? I'm back. Hey, you're kind of late today. Whoa, you're covered in soot. What happened? Did you get into a fight? Here. He awkwardly hands me a bunch of yen bills. What's this for? I'm paying rent. I found the job yesterday. You got paid already? Can I take a bath first? Of course, but there's really no need for you to pay rent. You can stay here until your memories return, and I just felt like I needed to do something. I'd go crazy otherwise. No. Forget it. I felt some worn paper, smelling distinctly of croquettes, pressed against my face. I got these from a street vendor. Figured you might want them since you're running out of food because of me. Anyway, I'm off to take a bath. Jeez. Wow, he actually got a job. He's way more of an adult than me. Okay, this really is a fan fiction. Like, I know it's a visual novel, but like... all the other stories in this game up until this point have been very dark and about loneliness and death and sadness. And this is just, we're two boys, we're having fun playing video games. I love this for them. But I feel like it's not going to stay that way. Anyways, I made some late night snacks for the leftovers I found in the fridge. It might have been a bad idea though. Oh, that's a great idea. These taste amazing. And that's not what I meant. Well, whatever. I'm glad you like them at any rate. Oh, I'll take care of the dishes. There's no need. I'm used to doing them all the time. What is a visual novel if not illustrated fanfic? Exactly. That's all a visual novel is. And this one just happens to be a bunch of tiny little fanfictions. All in one tricycle universe. I can't allow a guest to think of it as part of my rent. You just watch TV in the meantime. Okay. All the time, huh? Is this what my life used to be like? Still feeling a bit of guilt from letting Ro do the dishes, I nonetheless ended up turning on the TV. As the trusty old CRT whirred to life, a brief piece of scrolling text showed up at the bottom of the screen. It read, "The truth about the end of the world." A bunch of dubious-looking adults were having a serious argument about something. The celebrities present would respond with exaggerated reactions in an attempt to make the whole thing more exciting for the audience. I put the plates on the shelf. You don't need to go that far, but thank you. What's on TV? How do you feel about all this end of the world stuff? Is the world actually going to end? Yeah, it'll happen this year, according to these people. First time I've heard about it. Seriously? But it's been the talk of the town. There was no way you'd go to school and not hear about this. Oh, he had amnesia. What would you do if the world ended tomorrow? Rose sat down some distance away from me, and I waited for his response. For a brief moment, he averted his sharp gaze, then glanced to the side before finally speaking up. Not a thing. Why? Because there's nothing to do. He stared into the distance with a defeated look. I guess I'll just spend my days like I always do, then go to sleep. That's it? I see. His answer came as a bit of a surprise. I had assumed most people wouldn't want to do something special on their last day. Under normal circumstances, you'd have to stay in line or obey the rules of society. But if the world was coming to an end, that'd all fly out the window. You could technically do whatever you wanted. Well, at least the girl sitting next to me in class thought so. I kept thinking about Rose's answer as the TV drummed on and on. That's right. I'd say the disappearance of the sun sounds like the most valid theory. And what would happen then? Would mankind go extinct? Not necessarily. A few hundred individuals, in theory, possess antibodies necessary to survive such harsh conditions. Is that true? That sounds fake. I don't think so. As humans, we're all different. Naturally, some of us adapt better to certain environments than others. Okay, but if the sun is gone, only a few hundred survivors. Wow. A video started playing. It showed a boy living on the earth that had become dried up wasteland. I briefly imagined what it'd be like to be that boy. For some reason, I had this feeling that if my parents, classmates, and all the adults I knew died, I'd still be able to survive. I wonder if tomorrow will really come. Suo? Every single day, it's all people could talk about. Is the world really gonna end? There would be no next year then. No one really knows if the sun's gonna come up the next day. I suppose you're right. How about you? What would you do if the world ended tomorrow? I'm not sure. It's hard to predict how I'd act. I see. Oh, look at the time. We've got to brush our teeth and get to sleep. Right. Personally, I couldn't wait for the end to come. What? I had this completely baseless feeling that it would awaken a special power within me, which would allow me to save the day. And when that happened, and that happens. Whew. Well, that's the cleaning done. Bro's still at work, though. What? Okay. I'm confused about Mamiya, but I'm also confused about Suo. Like, he seems like such a little puppy dog, right? But then he says stuff like that, and it throws me off. Finally got a whole day to myself, with nothing to actually do. Is that a delivery man? I'm coming. Who are you? Samejima Satoru? Here, especially delivery of Hokkaido crabs. I don't even know how to eat crab. No worry, they come with instructions. Did you write them yourself, Mr. Samejima? Yes, I even went the extra mile and drew pictures. Wow. Carrying a large styrofoam box, he headed off toward the kitchen. Being one of my father's direct subordinates, Mr. Samejima would come over to our house quite frequently. He'd always been unique, even discounting the fact that he was a policeman. I'm having so much fun. Having much fun by yourself? I'm still enjoying the novelty of it, but it has its drawbacks too. Well, if you ever get fed up, you're more than welcome to come over to my place. I'll handle the chores. Don't worry. Well... An image of Ro flashed through my mind. I couldn't leave him alone. I appreciate the sentiment, but I can't leave my house unattended. I guess you've got a point there. Mr. Samejima began to pull the crab apart with an astounding level of dexterity. And that was putting it lightly. His speed was out of this world. I'd never seen anyone pick apart a crab with this much skill. How's school lately? He turned his attention to me while his hands were still busy working on the crab. Pretty fun. I'm slowly getting better at lacrosse and my classmates are all great. Glad to hear that. Mr. Samejima smiled without really changing his expression. Can I borrow your bathroom for a moment? Of course, go right ahead. He sure is taking a while. Oh? Mr. Samejima, did you forget where our bathroom was? Oh, Kato. The room Mr. Samejima was trying to enter was Ro's room. Is something the matter? No, nothing. More importantly, I'm having a hard time with those crabs by myself. I was hoping you could help me. Oh, there were 40 pages worth of instructions, not enough? 40 pages? You wrote 40 pages? I did, but I see you haven't read them. Don't worry, they're pretty straightforward. But what could it be? There's something in the room you don't want me to see. In that moment, I could have sworn I saw a faint glimmer in Mr. Samejima's narrowed eyes. His unique antics often made me forget it, but he was still a policeman, an elite investigator at that. His intuition must have been sharp as a knife. Oh, no. And I suppose there's no harm in me opening the door, right? Huh? Okay then. I was done for. Mr. Samejima was gonna find out about Ro. Oh no! Wow, this sure takes me back. Takes you back to what? Huh? I timidly looked up. The room looked clean and tidied up as if no one had been living there. Mr. Samejima examined one of the pillars in the room, looking visibly moved. Do you remember? We used this to measure your height. Oh. It says the year that you were 150 centimeters. Just 4 years ago. Look at you now. A veritable giant. Come on, Mr. Samejima, you're almost the same height as me. Ha 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 ha. Certainly brings back all kinds of memories. Mr. Samejima, look how big you've grown. Gotta be careful not to get crushed. Could you just leave? Feeling more than a little rattled, I ended up pretty much shoving Mr. Samejima out of the room. As my hands touched his back, it certainly did feel smaller compared to mine. In any case, I'm glad to see you're doing fine, Kato. Truth be told, I was a little worried. It would have been quite an incident if you had died from loneliness. I'm not dying that easily. Anyway, thanks for everything, Mr. Samejima. Don't mention it. You have to handle the rest of your crabs by yourself. With a bit of effort, Mr. Samejima forced his large body into his car. Take care now, Kato. Bye, Mr. Samejima. God, I'm gonna need a bigger car. And with that, Mr. Samejima drove off into the I didn't read that. I'm sorry. That was close. Wow, his jacket. Is he still wearing the pajama shirt under his jacket? Is it an upside-down swoosh? Wonderful. Did someone come over? Ro, when did you get back? Just now. Oh, by the way, I got some crabs. We should have them for dinner. Crabs? You don't know what crabs are? They're these tiny red animals with claws and arms, and you don't think I'm stupid, do you? We can have crab every day now. It'll be great. I really don't think crab meat is something you eat every day. Whew. That said, I almost couldn't believe how tidy Ro's room was. It felt almost like he was keeping it that way so he could leave at any moment. To be ready for it every day. You couldn't find a single trace of him actually living in this room. I wonder where he goes every day. Ro, what's wrong? Did I wake you up? No. You having trouble falling asleep then? Oh, that reminds me. How's your wound? It's starting to heal up. I see. That's great. How long was he planning to stay here? Until his wound healed? Until my parents came home? Or maybe until his memories returned? He had become a part of my daily life. I couldn't imagine the house without him now. How long has it been? It cannot have been that long, right? I had a dream. A dream? Yeah, I think I've had it multiple times since coming here. Do you remember anything about it? Not really. That's just how it goes. You have this amazing dream, but the moment you try to actually remember it, you realize you can't. That's why I keep a dream diary. I also keep a dream diary, Suo. A dream diary? Yeah, I use it to jot down all my dreams before I forget about them. It's just a plain old notebook, really. After pausing to think for a moment, Ro leaned in closer to me. I want to hear about your dreams. Oh! The fanfiction meter just went through the roof. Okay, there's this one dream I had 3 days ago. I flipped back a page in my notebook. Oh god. Look at them! What is this? Why is this story so wholesome? The last story was about a man who just slept with women because he was homeless. What is going on? I was fighting a beast. A beast? Yeah, and not the cute cartoony type either. This one was drooling saliva everywhere and smelled of rotten meat. I had no special powers to rely on, so I had to use my wits to try to defeat it. While I was struggling to find a solution, the beast ransacked the entire town and continued terrorizing its residents. So how did the dream end? I destroyed the supporting pillars of the tallest building in Roppongi? It collapsed and crushed the beast underneath. But while I was celebrating my victory, the sludge from the beast's remains coiled around me. And that's when I woke up. I closed the notebook and looked at Ro, who seemed very much on the verge of saying something. You sure have some interesting dreams. Thanks. I do love dreaming. So much fun. You never know what could happen next. Sorry, checking something. I see. I wish I could have dreams like that. Ro? I want to hear what you dream about tomorrow. Tomorrow? The word got my attention. Sure, no problem. There was a tomorrow. A tomorrow for the two of us. Kato? In the heavy drowsiness of slumber, I heard a voice. Mamiya? I'm glad you noticed me. That goes without saying. What are you doing here? That young man seems to have lost his memories. My heart skipped a beat. Are you going to tell someone? Oh, no, I mean, you're the only one that can hear me anyway. That's a relief. I could never keep secrets from you. I'm actually in a bit of a pickle right now. I have no idea how to help him regain his memories. Oh my god, the sicker sound scared me. I'm sorry. Thank you for the potato. And you're also worried about how long your life with him's gonna last. Amazing, it's like you're reading my mind. I know everything about you. Mamiya? What do you think I should do? You already know the answer, don't you? Oh. This world has no answers. Only desires, and actions that can be taken to fulfill them. Kato, do you know what you want? What I want? Yes. You'll know what to do once you figure that out. That sounds difficult. The necessary course of action is always quite simple. It's only the details that make things appear more complicated. Anyway, I think we've talked enough. Good night, Kato. Good night, Mamiya. All right. I'm gonna help you regain your memories. In that time we've been living together, is there anything you remember? Not really. I've been thinking about how best to solve your problem. I'm not sure how much help I'll be, but I want to aid you in any way I can. I was being completely earnest, only to be met by Ro's disinterested gaze. And that's when I had an idea. I gestured toward the things I had laid out on the table. Specifically the shoes I'd been using for club practice, a couple books from my father's shelf, and a plush toy I allegedly played with when I was a toddler. A pretty varied lineup, all in all. Do any of these ring a bell? Not really. Come on, at least take a closer look. If we find something you might have used, it could help jog your memory. Look, I'm doing this for you, and it's your memories we're trying to get back. Do y'all remember in Avatar: The Last Airbender, when they're trying to find the new avatar and they lay out the toys for whichever element is going to be the next one, and whoever chooses the avatar toy is the next avatar? That's what this reminds me of. I don't think I was particularly attached to any one item. I was more concerned with the buildings lining my town and people living inside them. At least that's how I feel. The town itself? But didn't you say you went through every street with a fine-tooth comb? I did, but I was talking about this town in particular. Meaning I probably didn't live in this area. But I still felt a certain connection to it. So with that settled, I'd like to check out the neighboring city. Ro made a brief pause. I was once again forced to come up with the painful realization that he genuinely didn't remember a single thing about himself. Got it. Without even thinking about it, I extended my hand toward him, Let's go visit the neighboring town. Ro reached out and clasped my hand. Oh. I appreciate you bringing me here, but what is this? Wow, a new coat. Huh? It's a lead. Yeah, I'm not blind. I'm asking why you even have something like that. That's for dogs. I mean, you know, I wouldn't want you getting lost. Is he on a leash? Is he on a leash? I'm so confused. It used to belong to the dogs we used to keep. Good thing I didn't throw it away. Anyway, please hold on to the other end. Are they holding onto a leash together? Bro, we need to keep going. Oh, don't pull so hard. Oh my god. The fanfiction, it's broken the charts. It's... This is just a straight up, like, a boys love fanfiction at this point. Jeez. Anyway, it's pretty cold out here. Even the wind's howling. Oh. Give me a moment. Good for them. Just hold hands. They literally just held hands. I'm pretty sure. Before the leash thing happened, he was like, give me your hand. Would you like me to carry that bag for you? You would? Oh, thank you very much. Don't mention it. Where would you like me to take it? Well, I was on my way to that corner store, so if you could just leave it to me. Sorry I kept you waiting. Take a look at this. I got us some peaches. Good for you. Oh, definitely. I love peaches. Anyway, let's be on our way. I bought 2 tickets. They were more expensive than any of the ones I ever bought before. I could barely contain my excitement. I felt like we were embarking on a grand old journey. You're not gonna sit? No, I can't seem to calm down. Ro glanced up at me as I was holding onto the handrail, then directed his gaze outside the window. We were passing one station after another. He watched the passing scenery rush by, but it didn't get much of a reaction out of him. Recognize anything? It doesn't look like we were quite there yet. It's okay though. We have all the time in the world. There are plenty of stations to go. Just let me know if you remember anything. Sure. We ended up reaching the last station without Ro saying a single word. It was a factory town. We aimlessly wandered around the cold winter sky. I didn't even know the name of the city. Neither of us spoke at all, partly due to the chilly weather. It made our lips dry and cracked. Every time I walk through a town, it makes me realize how empty it really is. I suppose it's a sign of the times. Our world might really be dying. I don't genuinely believe that, but I can't help thinking it. In the end, I might actually be wishing for it. I exhaled and watched my breath slowly dissipate into the air. Ro remained silent while I simply stared into the distance. But just when I was going to suggest going back home, I noticed him parting his lips. I don't think I want the world to end, despite how cruel and unfair it can be. Even without any memories, even if your life turns into a boring, meaningless routine, when you die, it's all over. His eyelashes lightly trembled in the wind as he uttered those words. I think, if it's really that boring, it might as well come to an end. I want everything in my life to be interesting. You're awfully greedy. You think so? Only those at the top can think that way. It's selfish and arrogant. The wind picked up, ruffling our hair with a sudden gust. What value was there to mankind in a mundane world filled with nothing but hollow despair? I felt like our paltry scuffles, oh my god, the dyslexia, had become the laughingstock of some invisible power. Narrowing my eyes in the strong wind, I licked my cracked lips to try and moisten them. Oh, that's bad. That's bad for your lips. I promise you. Trust me, I have eczema. I know what I'm talking about. I knew it would only make it worse later on, but as long as the immediate feeling of discomfort was gone, I didn't care. In the end, we couldn't find anything that would jog Ro's memory. We were just a couple of children, powerless and insignificant. My heart ached seeing Ro visibly disheartened. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll find something tomorrow. Thanks. A baseless, irresponsible remark. Yet Rose still mustered up an awkward smile before ultimately averting his pained gaze. I turned back toward the familiar road under the east sky. There was nothing in Tokyo. The city we lived in was empty. I woke up not in my bed, but the living room. I must have dozed off on the sofa. I drowsily looked around as I let my eyes grow accustomed to the darkness. I should head back to my room. Still feeling somewhat groggy, I made my way up the stairs toward my room. Suo? Shouldn't you be getting out of bed? Huh? Oh, I'm late! I tried waking you up multiple times. No way! Jeez. I've had no time to grab a bite to eat. I gotta get changed in my uniform and leave right away. Uh-oh. I made it! Good morning, Sue. Whoa, your hair's a total mess, dude. I didn't have time to brush it. Man, I can't believe I actually made it. Oh, you overslept? Well, that's a new one. I did, and I didn't even have time to make breakfast. I'm starving. I spent the rest of the day feeling both sleepy and hungry. Not exactly my best day at school, to say the least. This is so embarrassing. I'm home. Welcome back. What's for dinner, Ro? I got us tuna bowl each. They were on sale at the store. Man, I'm so hungry. Just go wash your hands first, okay? They are like a married couple. Good night, Ro. Good night. And just like that, days would come and go. An unchanging world, saturated with joy and fun. Tadaima. Warm, gentle days, devoid of challenges and conflict. Good night. Night. I thought something had changed with him here, but nothing did. No good. I can't remember anything. I see. Please don't blame yourself. Why don't we continue the game where we left off? Sure, okay. And so another uneventful day would go by, without Ro's memories showing any sign of returning. Is there something bothering you, Kato? Is that you, Mamiya? No, I'm fine. I sat at the edge of my bed staring at the floor. I felt him smiling at me. I turned to look, but all I could see was empty space. That's right. It's alright, Kato. Come with me. I can show you any dream you desire. For you, I can become a valiant hero or even the vilest of villains. So what will it be tonight? I'm really enjoying this, you know. Mamiya? But you know that, don't you? Yeah. Come. As I extended my arm, something immediately grabbed onto it, pulling me into the air. Oh! Whoa! Don't be afraid. You should be more than familiar with this sensation. All you have to do is remember the Christmas lights, the delicious treats, the restless anticipation of waiting for presents. Ah. See, that's nothing to be afraid of. I opened my eyes and saw the entire city below me. Amazing! Mamiya, this is incredible! Try to sim forward, but don't let go of my hand. Following Mamiya's instructions, I gently glided through the night sky. I feel so free. You always have been, Kato. You simply kept your true powers buried hidden. But that's hardly a problem when you're with me, is it? Mamiya! I squeezed his hand and felt his warmth, but that instantly sapped the strength, forcing my body to start wobbling in the sky. They all seem to span from the funeral to Christmas. Yeah, it's... But I don't know when the funeral is. December? Early December? So like a month of time is the time space here? I'll be waiting for you here in the land of dreams. We haven't seen what Suo's Mamiya looks like. We've seen the other ones. We had the bunny, the nurse girl, but this one's just invisible. Even after I'd woken up, I still felt like I was floating in the air. It's so funny. Bro, how long have you been there? I knocked on your door like 1,000,000 times. Were you having a good dream? Well, yeah, kinda. That's so. Well, I'll wait to hear about it later. Rose's expression would always turn unusually gentle whenever I talked about my dreams. I wasn't really sure why, though. It made me feel a little embarrassed, to be honest. Ever since I had that dream, I felt convinced that everything would turn out alright. For some reason, Mamiya would never fail to make me feel that way. Hey, Suo. Yeah, what is it? What are you doing so late at night? What do you mean? Oh, I guess it must have been a misunderstanding on my part. It's fine. Ro lowered his gaze and seemingly deep in thought. I felt like I had to do something to give him peace of mind. Good night, then. If you're having trouble sleeping, would you like me to get you something to drink? I'm good. You should get some sleep yourself. Okay. I wonder if Ro's alright. Normally you'd go straight to the hospital if you had amnesia. Wait a second, why didn't that occur to me until now? Why didn't it occur to you until now? He was bleeding out of his stomach and you never took him to a hospital? Hello? Can he go to the hospital by himself, though? He has no money. And who knows what his insurance situation is? What are you going on about? I'm talking about you and your... Huh? Make some space on the table. Bro, when did you... I brought us something to drink. You what? Look, I changed my mind. And then I figured I'd also get something for you. Ro was holding 2 mugs. The hot steam emerging from them muddled the outline of his face. Thank you. Careful there, it's hot. Tastes pretty good. A faintly sweet aroma spread across my mouth. I see. Are you still writing in your diary? Yeah, I did it yesterday too. Can I see? Sure. Under the lights of the small lamp, Ro began flipping through the pages of my notebook. Do you like it? Yeah. Having someone read what you wrote is a little embarrassing. Agreed. Okay, I think you've seen enough. He's blushing. Hey, I'm not finished yet. Yes, you are. Actually, why don't you start your own dream diary? You're only saying that because you want to read it. Well, I'm curious about what kind of dreams you have. Guess I'll consider it then. I'm really looking forward to it, just so you know. Think you can sleep now? I've been watching you during the day. You seemed awfully drowsy. I figured you were sleep deprived. Oh. Hopefully I'm just overthinking it, though. I'll wash the cups. Thank you. Good night. Good night. Turns out Ro's way more of an adult than I am. I see. It's that dream again. He keeps having the same dream. Coming back from school, I found Mr. Samejima blowing soap bubbles in front of my house. Is he in his pajamas? Coming back from school? What? Oh, welcome home, Kato. Mr. Samejima? What is that? A little something I picked up from the pharmacy. Really? That brings back so many memories. Want to give it a try? He handed me a yellowish-green straw and a pink container with some soap bubble liquid inside. Not now. I'm still a bit exhausted after club practice. I see. Samejima proceeded to exhale a long breath, which produced a relatively large bubble. However, it burst before it could leave the straw. You can have the rest. I'm not a child, you know. Should be perfect for you and your friends to play around with. In any case, I'll be on my way now. Did you come here for something? Not really, no. And just like that, Samejima drove off in a car that wasn't his usual Mini. Seriously, though. Soap bubbles are like the last thing I'd expect him to try. Soap bubbles, huh? Mamiya? Come blow some bubbles for me. You want me to do it alone? Why not join me? You can be awfully mean at sometimes, Kato. How am I supposed to do it? I'm invisible. I just want to see you do it. Not asking for much, am I? If only he asked when Mr. Samejima was still around. Playing with soap bubbles at 15 was more than a little embarrassing. Well, fine, but only for a little bit. I exhaled into the straw, making a whole bunch of bubbles pop out the other end. They slowly continued drifting in the air before ultimately melting into the evening sky. Excited, I continued making more and more of them. They're beautiful. Sure are. The soap bubble's membrane glimmered in wondrous colors. I feel almost like I'm dreaming. Mamiya? Oh. Through the thin layer of soap bubbles, the world took on a rainbow hue. Even the front of my house felt fresh and different all of a sudden. As I continued intently staring at it, I felt almost like I could glimpse Mamiya. Mamiya? I called out to him. A fierce gust of wind swept past us, blasting the soap bubble far into the distant sky. I think there was a song like this. I wasn't quite sure where it came from, but the soft melody of a popular nursery rhyme filled my ear all of a sudden. I followed the words in my head. For the first time ever, I felt sad not being able to see Mamiya's expression. It won't break you, I swear. Not even I really understood why I ended up saying that. But I had to protect Mamiya, and I was the only one that could do it. As long as you continue to feel that way, I won't disappear. As long as there's even one soul in this world that continues to feel that way, I will never be gone. I wish I could embrace you. This is the first time anyone has said that to me. This is weird, because in all the other ones, Mamiya is the one who's protecting them, right? But in this one, it's the opposite. Mr. Suo, what do you have hiding up your sleeve? As if trying to touch a soap bubble, I reached out with my hand. Are you there? Yes, I am. Can I hug you? Yes. I awkwardly embraced the space where Mamiya was supposed to be. Couldn't feel any warmth, just cold winter's air. Still, I wanted to embrace you. So warm. You're so warm, Suo. I lost count of how many days it had been since Ro came to my house. Today, like on most days, we had dinner and spent time relaxing in front of the TV. What's this? Ro's eyes widened like saucers. He stared intensely at the screen. Huh? That's the sea. Oh, you don't know what the sea is? Well, it's made of salt water and... His usual retort never came. Instead, Ro kept focusing on the screen. After a brief silence, he finally looked up at me. Is there a sea nearby, Suo? His amber eyes flashed like daggers. I couldn't help but gulp when faced with the sheer intensity of his gaze. A sea? Yeah, I think so. I doubt it's even that far, so it's nearby. After uttering that, Ro once again felt complete silent. I'll go with you. Huh? You were thinking of going alone, weren't you? I can't allow you to do that. But you've got school to think about. One day won't make a difference. I've never skipped class before, but it's never too late to start either. Please take me with you. Do whatever you want. Oh, I will. The next morning we left the house with maps in hand. We were searching for the sea and something else too. Something vague and undefined. I just heard something in my apartment. I'm sorry, it freaked me out. Oh, wow. Look at... Oh, this is pretty. That said, it'll be quite a walk from here. You sure you'll be okay? Don't underestimate the endurance I've built up at work. If anything, I'm worried about you. Come on, I play lacrosse every single day. Take that. Stop flailing around. We're in this together. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. Remember, we're not going on vacation or anything. I'm serious about this. Yeah, I know. A gust of cold wind swept past us. It ruffled our hair and made the reeds around us dance. The sun was blinding me. I closed my eyes out of reflex. Glad to hear that. Ro's gaze, however, remained unflinching. We'd find something this time. I was sure of it. There was a thrilling adventure waiting for us at the end of the road. I just knew it. Ro was acting mysteriously as ever, but his kindness had touched me. Even our destination was the perfect fit for our quest, a wintry seaside. It'd be a wonderful story in which our combined efforts help Ro regain his memories. I could almost smell it in the air. This time for sure. Things would get interesting. I can hardly wait. Me too. I'm not sure if I remember the sea being around here. Suo, unable to contain his emotions, Ro led the way, pulling me behind him. Wow, it's the sea! If it was summer, we could even go for a swim. Ro, did you remember something? Can I stay here for a while? Oh, of course. All right. With his gaze directed at the sea, Ro fell completely silent. I backed off a bit to not get in his way. I felt a tug on the lead in my hand, along with the pang of guilt in my heart. To tell you the truth, I could actually remember my dream just fine. I just didn't want to tell you. I felt like it might come true if I did. I retained a subtle distance between the two of us while gently pulling the lead. How much time had passed without either of us saying a word? The sand beneath my feet felt almost otherworldly, like it came from another dimension. Oh! Another dimension theory confirmed? The ashen sea, having endured several days of rain, continued to rage. It would surge up over and again. The waves roared. I stared on, thoroughly captivated by the sea, when suddenly, my vision blurred for a moment. I felt a splitting headache come on. Unable to maintain my balance, I fell back on my knees. My vision began to twist and warp as somewhat familiar image showed up. But in that hazy vision, Ro, I silently lost consciousness. I came to in a room. Huh? What? Where was I? Ro and I were at the seaside, but now he was nowhere to be seen, gone along with his lead. Hey, remember when he watched a show in another dimension? Yes, I do remember when that happened. But I'm still trying to figure out how they're connected, and now he's in this room here? As I uttered his name, someone grabbed me by the chin. Ugh! Nice to meet you, Suo Keita. It was a man I didn't recognize. He had rough hands and was surrounded by the thick smell of tobacco. I've been waiting to meet you for the longest time. I've even dreamt about it. I forced out a groan, even through the hand covering my mouth. Why did this happen? Who was this man? My thoughts were a complete jumble, and I even felt my eyes moisten with tears. You have no idea how much I loathe you. Your very existence makes me sick. Don't act like you know Mamiya, you little brat. What? Mamiya? I looked up at the man as I heard Mamiya's name. However, it was too dark for me to see his face. Seemingly angered by my stare, the man clicked his tongue and slammed me into the floor. Oh, Suo! I could feel the rough, cold surface and the concrete crash against my cheeks. The man looked down at me. Listen well. I couldn't think straight. My vision was a blurry mess. There was only one thing on my mind. Why? Mamiya belongs to me. Why did this man know Mamiya? Suo! Suo! You okay? Hold on. Relax. Sit up. Take it slow. Hold on to me. As I held onto Ro's shoulder, the two of us started walking towards the path we came from. I slowly lowered myself onto a nearby bench. I could still feel the concrete against my skin. In the pain, those thick, bony fingers held me. Even his gruff voice still rang in my ears. His tone was like a freezing chill creeping into you. What is this? What's wrong? Can't you hear it? Hear what? Something screeching. I can't hear a thing. Really? That's odd. Reminds me of the vision Ro had at the Ferris wheel. Was it the... Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know. Because what did he say to Ro in the Ferris wheel? The mean guy? Was it about Mamiya? He said something really mean to Ro. But that's all I remember. For some reason it sounded familiar. It reminds me of ice flows. It's so loud. It's still going. Mamiya. Suo? You're there, aren't you? Was that person to you Mamiya? I thought I was the only one that could see you. Suo, what's going on? Mamiya? Answer me! Could it be that you're already talking, and I just can't hear you? I mean, it's screeching so bad, it's drowning out everything else. He had a similar line about wanting to meet him. Ah, okay. So somebody wants to meet Mamiya, or Mamiya... Somebody wants Mamiya, but Mamiya only shows up to these people? But they don't know who okay. I'm still very confused. Ro carried me back home. However, the sound of the ice floes never died down. Oh, Kaito. My poor Kaito. Suo, are you okay? Can you take a bath by yourself? Your face is all red. I think you've got a fever. Go to sleep. I should have told you about wanting to go to the sea. I'm sorry. Ro, Good night. What was your dream, Ro? I'll change your sheets. Drink up. You've got to stay hydrated. Oh, you okay? Sorry for being too pushy. I'll go shower now. I'm sorry I caused you so much trouble. Don't worry about it. Worry instead about getting better. Okay. I'll make you some porridge in case you get hungry. Thanks. You'll need to rest. He pulled the covers over my shoulders and gave me a gentle pat. That alone was enough to make me tear up. Could have just been the fever, though. Did you manage to sleep? He's tossing around in bed. I wonder if he's having a nightmare. Mom? Oh, Dad? Oh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's just me. Sorry, I'm messaging someone. And not an adult with an actual power to do something. Are you awake? You feel like eating? Yeah, I'm starving actually. I'll go warm up your porridge. You can have this a while if you want. Oh wow, a peach. It's just some leftovers. I know how much you like them. I took a bite from the peach, allowing its sweet juices to fill my mouth. Tastes good. Glad to hear that. I wonder if this is what it feels like to have an older brother. Yeah, right. Like I'd want to have a giant like you for a little brother. Ouch. Just then, it felt like I could hear a faint chuckle escape Ro's lips. The gentle taste of peach stayed in my mouth, melting away from my riled up feelings. The weathercaster on TV diligently explained the situation. Wow, that typhoon looks crazy. It's so rare to see those in December. The windows are rattling pretty hard. It doesn't look like we'll be able to go out today, or even tomorrow. The slanted rain was pattering on the branches outside the window. I found myself captivated by their rhythmic movements. To my side, Ro looked like he was about to say something about the stormy sky. Are you planning to go out, Ro? I've got work tomorrow. It's just daily employment, so I don't really have to go, but I'm worried about your health. I'm feeling much better now, thanks to you. Good. They'll probably let you take tomorrow off, so why not just stay home? We could spend the whole day relaxing, doesn't that sound great? Okay, fine. I'll be looking forward to it. Great! Well then, have a good night, Ro. Thanks. Are you really gonna be alright by yourself? Come on, what's gotten into you all of a sudden? Don't tell me you're afraid of the typhoon. There's no need to worry in this house. We're safe from both rain and wind. Lightning too, for that matter. Yet still Ro retained a gloomy expression. In that moment, a certain feeling washed over me. The typhoon might have had something to do with him losing his memory. I suddenly felt guilty for making light of it. Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. Really? I see. I'll be off then. Are you sure you don't want to sleep together? Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait just a second. Absolutely sure. Ouch. And remember, you'll have to tell me all about your dreams. Okay. I will. Good night. Ro returned to his room. The sound of the rain reverberated in the darkness. Good night. Why did I always feel so uneasy during the typhoons? As I watched that swirling, cloudy sky, I felt like something just might happen. In that deep, deep darkness, I ended up drifting off to sleep, unable to comprehend the nature of those feelings. I heard the piercing sound of rain. It reminded me of needles. I felt like I was becoming one with the storm. Damn noise. Why is the door open? Suo? I had always been expecting a certain something. What? Suo! Suo! Where are you, Suo? The world was filled with mystery and wonder. And so I believed that one day, I too would be chosen. The rippling surface of the water, the star-studded sky reflected in it. It was a sweet, blissful dream. Tomorrow. The day after tomorrow. The day after that. As days came and went, things that truly mattered grew vaguer and hazier. I hoped we could exchange a gentle smile. The way we did when we meet in the dream. As I woke up, I found myself in Ro's arms. Ro? He held me in a powerful grip and seemed to be of no mind to let go. In the end, I gave up on struggling and decided to surrender myself to whatever he would do. Huh? He looked tired. Oh, are you awake, Ro? Suo. Geez, what was that for? I nearly broke into a smile, but I saw Ro's teeth were chattering. He was shivering all over. Did you have a bad dream? It's okay. I'm here. It's alright. Everything's fine. Talking to his classmates. I'm home, Ro. Welcome back. I'm sorry. School started and the weather's so nice. I felt guilty not going. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We can hang out on your next day off. I guess. Well then. I took out my notebook from the drawer and began cheerfully flipping through its pages. I gotta jot down my dream while I still remember it. I clutched my pen and was just about to start writing when... Ah, Ro. Perfect timing. I actually wanted to call you over. Really? Yeah, I'm about to add a new entry to my dream diary. You said you enjoyed reading them, so... Suo, you need to stop doing that. Huh? Stop writing down your dreams. What? Why? You always look so happy when I tell you about them. And it means a lot to me. I can't believe you of all people would tell me to stop. You're losing your ability to tell dreams and reality apart, aren't you? Huh? What are you talking about? You believe your dreams have actually happened in real life, so I want you to stop. Who's talking? You've got no memories and no way of telling what's right or not. Suo, you should go to a hospital. Why me? You're the one with amnesia. You don't remember walking all over town last night, do you? What? What are you talking about? Are you sure you didn't just dream that all up? Then, how do you explain all those wounds on your leg? and the things you keep mumbling to yourself. I'm not sure who you think you're talking to, but there's no one there. You're wrong. Mamiya is just invisible, which is why others can't see him. Suo, I enjoyed hearing about your dreams. To me, dreams only meant one thing: fear. But you managed to turn them into a source of entertainment, which is why I liked yours. However, it ceases being entertainment the moment it starts interfering with real life. You're not making sense. I have no idea what you're even talking about. Suo! Open your eyes and look at reality, for God's sake. These words touch something inside me. Something very, very important. Slumbering deep within me. I'll step out for a bit. Mamiya, you're there, aren't you? Mamiya, am I weird? Am I wrong to rely on you? I mean, you're my friend. That's right, I'm your friend, Kato. And to me, you're irreplaceable. You feel the same way about me, don't you? Yeah, but you have no body. That's true. You're invisible. I see. You're the only one who can sense me. Rose said that it was weird to have a friend like that. That's what he said. I see. Well, it's true I'm different from most people in the sense that I have no body. I don't trust Mamiya either. I never trusted Mamiya. If someone's too nice in a story, cut him off. Evil. I'm as unusual as being as they come. But it's all a matter of perspective, really. It is? Yeah. I may not have a body, but my words reach you just fine, do they not? Surely our relationship isn't so fragile that the mere idea of being weird would affect it. You're right. It's not. You mean a lot to me, Mamiya. I can sense you in my heart. That makes you real. And simply ignore what others say about us. The only thing that matters is what you believe in. You're right. You know, it's kind of weird. I'm starting to feel like nothing that happened really matters anymore. Despite how much it hurt me. But I don't think I want to see Ro for a while. Oh. Mr. Samejima, what are you doing here? Kato, would you mind coming along for a drive? But I've got school. Just call in sick. Come on, hop in. Mr. Samejima. Uh-oh. 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 Jeez, you're being awfully forceful. Cut me some slack. I've been really looking forward to this. To what? Here, I've put on your favorite tunes. Mr. Samejima reached out and flipped a switch on the dashboard. A second later, an upbeat song started playing from the car. Oh wow, I'm surprised you've also got this kind of music. Wow. Can y'all hear the music? It's pretty good. The soundtrack of this is really good. I actually tried looking up the soundtrack to the game on like Spotify. It wasn't there. So if anyone has any leads, please let me know. I tried to Google the meaning on Mamiya and just got advertisements for a camera company. Oh. Interesting. I didn't know there was a camera company called Mamiya. The truth is, I'm not. I actually just rented it from Tatsuya the first time. See? You got the card. Driving and upbeat music go hand in hand. Your dad taught me that much. I just love how feel good the lyrics are. Sort of makes you want to do your best, you know? Is that so? By the way, look. I brought some light snacks too. Sandwiches and milk. They all have different fillings, so please feel free to pick whichever is your favorite. Or you could just eat them all. I don't mind. I felt quite indulged here. I suppose I'll just make the most of this then. It's actually been a while since I've gone on a drive. Indeed it has. You were always so full of energy at the start, but then dozing off on the way back. I still remember how lonely it felt as I drive through the tunnel with nothing to do but chew gum. Really? I'm sorry about that. Don't be. When you take the wheel, it sort of just comes with the territory. Speaking of which, where are you going exactly? Any request? You're asking me? Well, it's winter, so it'd be nice to see some snow. I'd like to go up north. As you wish. Off we go then, to Cape Soya, the trip of the north. Can't wait. Have you ever been to Hokkaido, Mr. Samijima? On a few occasions, yeah. I visited there on a trip with my family when I was still little. The winters are really, really cold. And that's the first time I ate crab. Which reminds me, I don't have any left. I noticed how lengthy your instructions were, but I didn't realize you actually added recipes in there too. I ate everything from takikomi gohan to kenshin jiru. It really helped me out. I'm glad to hear you've made use of it. I really wouldn't mind going there. Or even to a place no one else knows, as long as that's what you wanted. Mr. Samijima? Kato? Our real destination is the hospital. What? Huh? Are you sick, Mr. Samijima? This isn't about me, Kato. You're the one that needs to be looked at. But I don't have a fever, I'm not injured either. I've heard you were out on the streets in the middle of the storm yesterday. And that you weren't quite yourself. In that moment, my mind just completely blanked out. Mr. Samijima knew everything. He knew about Ro living at my house, and even what happened during the storm. There's nothing to be scared of. They're just gonna take a look at you. Kato, it's gonna be fine. No, I don't want to go. Kato, I'm not going. You lied to me. You lured me into the car so I couldn't escape. You need to calm down. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm completely sane. I've had enough of this. Stop the car right now. I'm afraid I can't do that. Why? I promised to look after you. I need to make sure you're okay. So you're just doing this for my dad, not me? It's not true. I'm getting out. I pushed the still speeding car's door wide open. Mr. Samijima's face tensed up like I'd never seen it before. Let me out! Let me out! Kato, close the door. Hurry, this is getting too dangerous. Then stop the car. Close the door. I won't. I'm getting out. You'll only get hurt. Then maybe you should stop the car. Unless you want my dad to hear about this. The car began to gradually lose speed until it came to a complete halt. Wasting no time, I immediately jumped out of the car and started dashing off in the opposite direction. I believed him. I trusted him. But even Mr. Samijima thinks I'm crazy. I didn't step on the brakes for your father's sake. Visibly taken aback, Mr. Samijima muttered that to himself. There was no way for me to hear him, though. I was still running, while feeling like the entire world had just betrayed me. The basement my dad used as makeshift storage was covered in concrete and had a distinctly chilly air to it. Thought he was gonna die, man. Me too. I thought they were gonna crash the car or something. I was so concerned. Wait, did they think he's crazy? Something about that. He's confusing dreams with reality, I think. I had to walk away for a second. Oh, okay, yeah. So basically, he had this dream, and he thought it was a dream, but in reality, he was outside walking around in a typhoon, but he doesn't remember it at all. So, also he keeps talking to Mamiya, but obviously Mamiya, no one else can see him, and people are what's going on? That's the gist of what's going on, and they're trying to get him help. Oh, yikes. Yeah, big yikes, very big yikes. I violently pushed him down there. What gives? Come on now. It's your fault, Ro. You keep saying all these weird things to people. Did he put Ro in a basement? Where am I? My house, of course. Let me out of here. Ro was acting strange. Ro? His amber eyes no longer had that intimidating glint to them. I had seen eyes like that before. I won't. You can beg all you want. Suo. It's your fault, okay? You told Mr. Samijima all those weird things about me. I trusted you, and yet... You're getting the wrong idea. I did it for your sake. Don't just say what's convenient to you. You'll stay here and reflect on what you've done. I adjust Ro in the coldest tone I could muster. I had to remind myself not to relent. I threw him a piercing glare and tried to mask the fact that my voice had been trembling. It's just for a little bit. Try to endure it for now. Did he lock them? He locked him in a basement? I locked the door leading to the basement with an audible click. I felt a thorn prick at my heart when I recalled the face Ro made at the end. I hope he returns to normal soon. Not sure how I feel about this right now. I'm a little concerned for all parties involved, especially Ro. I brought you some food. Only a couple of hours had passed, yet Ro looked more exhausted than I'd ever seen him. My heart ached seeing him like this. I brought you a rice ball, some miso soup, and an omelet. Do you think you can eat? Yeah. Jeez, you can't do it at all. Please, have some water first. Open your mouth. Chew slowly, okay? Oh, I'm glad you could actually eat all that. Why are you doing this? You lock me up in a place like this, then start feeding me? You've been like that from the start. There's no rhyme or reason to anything you do. What are you trying to achieve exactly? Achieve? Nothing at all. I just want you to reflect on your actions. But it breaks my heart to see you unable to eat, so... Are you sorry for what you've done? Can you finally go back to being your usual self? How am I supposed to do that when I never changed to begin with? Just let me out of here already. Why are you like this? When one night you opened that door in your sleep, I've got to be there to protect you. From what? From yourself. Are you telling me to just not sleep at night? Is that it? You're really not making any sense, Ro. I could say the same about you. What do you even want? What do I want? You already know that, don't you? What? I approached the hesitating Ro and gave his haggard face a long, hard look. Oh, hello. Show me your hidden powers. Suo, don't play dumb with me. I know everything. You hold the key to the entire world in your hands. That what made you lose your memories. Suo, what are you even... Come on, admit it. Do it, or else... I gotta go my own way from High School Musical 2 starts playing. I gotta go my own way. I can't sing the rest of it for copyright reasons, but... Y'all get the gist. Fine, I'll talk. I thought they were gonna kiss, boo. Yeah. Oh, apparently we're gonna get angst instead. You know what? I hate this place. It's dark, cramped, and there's cold concrete everywhere. I remember all of this. When I was small, I leaned in, completely taken in by a story, but when I did, Rose suddenly bit into my fingers. Oh! What the heck was that for? I knew it. You're still not the Ro I know. Some strange force must be controlling you. That has to be it. Suo, wake up already. Wake up? You've dreamt enough. What are you talking about? I have no hidden powers, nor any magical abilities. I'm just a guy with amnesia. We're no different, Suo. You're just like me. Huh? You're a spoiled, somewhat childish 15-year-old with a gentle heart. A perfectly ordinary person. Enough. Stop it. Listen to me. What are you looking for? What you're looking for just doesn't exist in this world. Stop it. Stop it. Open your eyes. I don't wanna. You have to. Stop clinging to fantasies. I don't understand. The world never changes. It's always so dull. I am also genuinely worried about Suo. This one's maybe darker than the other ones we saw. Like, the other ones were darker more outwardly, but this one is like, this one's just sad. You see, I have high expectations for this world. I just don't want to give up on that. Suo. For the longest time, I'd been full of expectations. I believed that the world was filled with mystery and wonder. That one day, I too would be chosen. Mom and Dad, my friends, all the people in our town, they allowed me to live in a peaceful life devoid of worry and hardship. But I didn't want that gentle stagnation. I craved excitement, vivid colors to paint over my dull and gray life. I had hopes. For this world, and for myself. I can't just give up on this world, or myself. That'd be like accepting things as they are. I won't do that. Do you really think it's wrong for me to feel that way? Is it wrong for me to discuss all this with you? Maybe I shouldn't talk to you anymore. Answer me, Mamiya. Please say something. It's okay. It's alright. Everything will be just fine. There's something truly wonderful and unique in this world. And that something is you. There's no need to be afraid. Really? Yeah. Trust me. Mamiya. I love you, Mamiya. I know. This craving I feel. You understand it, don't you, Mamiya? I do. All too well. Which is precisely why you can be so menacing at times. Your unquenchable thirst for the kingdom of the unreal. Isn't that why I'm here? Why I was left to remain? I will fulfill my duty, even if it may cause grief to some. I'm sure it will all be forgotten soon enough, though. Listen, Kato. I wanted to thank you for that hug. I mean it. It made me really happy. The rippling surface of the water, the star-studded sky. I hoped we could exchange a gentle smile, the way we did when we met in the dream. That's all I really wanted. Tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, the day after that. As days came and went, things that truly mattered grew vaguer, hazier. Even now, I still yearned for it. Gaining superpowers out of nowhere, getting entangled in a conflict of mind-numbing proportions. Embarking on an epic quest to rescue a girl, saving the world from impending doom. I desperately wanted to become someone like that. Where am I? The first thing I saw upon waking was the sea. But why? Why would I wake up in a place like this? I glimpsed a shadow in the distance. He looked familiar. Ro? But before I could reach him, Ro fell to the ground with a grunt. There's so much blood. Ro? I have to stop the bleeding. We need to get away from here. I'm coming for you, Ro. Ro made no response, almost like he didn't even hear me. He remained completely motionless. The red of his blood continued to spread through the deep purple of the sea. Oh no. He wasn't gonna make it. Ro was gonna die. This can't be happening. Ro, don't do this to me. Gotta stop the bleeding. Come on, wake up. This can't be happening. This isn't real. I don't want this. What should I do, Mamiya? 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 I know you're there. Answer me. No, I can't take this anymore. I wanted a dramatic conclusion. I was ready to sacrifice myself, like a true hero. Kato, you're amazing, Kato. Oh, Mom, Dad. I wanted them to smile at me and call me exceptional. No, I don't want that. I don't want Ro to die. Suo, Ro, I remember now. I remember everything. Oh, I see. Including where and when this is, and the reason we crossed paths. He's different. He's not being targeted by a shadowy organization, nor does he hold the key that would unlock the path to another dimension. He has no hidden powers either. You and I were... He's just an ordinary person, nothing more. I don't need to hear about those memories. They're worthless to me. Shut up. If they're not unique and interesting, I have no need for them. Ro collapsed onto the sandy beach with an audible thud. He wasn't getting up. The vividness of his crimson blood was a sobering sight. Ro, why? But I too want to hear about the memories. I want to know what happened. I suppose it's all good. This is only a dream after all. And they do say it's good luck to kill before a trip. What? The world will soon end. I didn't know how much truth there was to it, but people on TV and news made it out to be a big deal. You could even hear people discussing it in class. Days went by as usual without people truly comprehending the world would soon end. I didn't quite understand why I was here. I was certain the world would end and happen in a blink of an eye. It would soon be simple and anticlimactic. The burst of a soap bubble. I need to wake up. And so, I drifted off to sleep. Okay, so this is how he washes up on the beach, I'm assuming. The night sea groaned softly. Surrounded by only the sound of waves, I clenched my fist as I beheld the young boy sleeping on the beach with a content smile on his face. It's this guy again! Why, Suo Kato. The door to the institution has been unlocked once more. We did it. We did it, friends. Okay, so that one gave me more answers. Kind of? I want to know who this blonde guy is. Alright, go sleepies. Institution unlocked. Yeah, I am gonna call this one tonight. It's getting late. But how do we institutional? How do we? Yeah, I don't know. It's, you know. Anyways, thanks for coming out and watching this very, very long stream of mine. Hopefully we'll get more answers soon. There can't be that many more stories, right? We shall find a way. Good night. Good night. Good night, everybody.